we go into the belly of the beast. The Sox need a pair of wins in the Bronx. Anything less, and Boston's year ends just shy of the World Series. The Red Sox are down, and it's the Yankees who've cowboyed up. And the Sandman has arrived, ready to put the Sox season to sleep and continue baseball's most famous curse. Hi, everyone. Welcome inside the Fox Network Center. Jeannie Zalasko along with Kevin Kennedy. Back for more, and so are the Red Sox, facing elimination for what, the fourth time this postseason?
Yes, and they've got the right guy on the mound. The Yankees do, at least, and Andy Pettitte 2-0 in the postseason. But the real key for me has been Mariano Rivera again going for two inning saves, the most dominant closer in postseason history, 29 of 31 for saves. He makes it a 7-inning game, and if you're Grady Little, you have to manage differently.
We got a lot of respect for that guy. We want to try to keep him out from being a factor in that ball game, and tonight we weren't able to do that.
You know, your stomach just growls, and you're in there. You wish you could throw every. I mean, you are throwing every pitch with the pitcher, swinging every bat with the hitter.
We're driving home last night to the hotel, and every block, everybody's flipping us off, and and it's just, I wish I had a video camera. It was unbelievable.
Hey, David, I can remember managing Boston and leaving the hotel, going to the Bronx, and a few of those fingers happening to me also.
Equal time, equal time.
Equal time. How about Nomar Garciaparra? He wants equal time, Gene. He wants to get that batting average and start driving in some runs. That's been key, but don't take him for granted. If you're Boston, you got to like this. They've won back-to-back games at New York twice this season. If you're the Yankee fans and you love history, you've got to love this. Not lost games 6 and 7 at home in the postseason since 1926. And everybody loves history. It's all about history these days in the postseason, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I've learned more this October than from Mr. Dean in 11th grade. If you like history, here's some more, because remember this date, October 14th, 2003. Oh, the headlines in Chicago. The sideshow of the worst inning in 58 years, starring an unfortunate fan in Section 9, seat 115.
I've never understood that, and I probably never will. I don't know if it's a natural reaction to try to catch the ball, but if you're for your team, you got to give your player every opportunity and chance to catch that ball. We need their positiveness. We need their noise. We need their, need them pulling for their team, our team, like they've never pulled before.
We were supposed to just fall over and play dead, and I told you, these guys they're tough. They're going to battle you all the way. He was right there. The ball was in the stands. Whether Alou could have caught it or not, that's questionable, but the ball is in the stands. The fans have a right to catch it.
One fan that comes to mind, Jeffrey Mayer, former teammate of mine, Tony Tarasco, is playing right field, Baltimore, and it's quite obvious if you've seen highlights of that. He had a chance to catch that ball, and this is no different.
It's not the same, because he's the anti-Jeffrey Mayer, and there's some other
Jeffrey
things.
Mayer reached out of the stands right there, and that's the rule. If you reach out of the stands, yes, it's fan interference. He's reaching up over the stands. This ball was actually blown back. Remember, the wind was blowing left to right, so the fans were looking up. They didn't reach out. They didn't go onto the playing field live. That's the difference. That's why this was not fan interference. But the real key to me, Jeannie, was this. The error right here by Alex Gonzalez. I mean, he just backs up, lets the ball play him. That could have been a possible double play ball, at least a force out at second base. Instead, what do we have? Bases loaded, one out. Derek Lee, a good fastball by Pryor, but, good hitters eventually are going to get you, and that would tie the game. And then Mordecai later on would really open up, and it was all opened up.
Now, Moises Alou, by the way, said, I felt terrible for the guy because everyone wants a baseball. Hopefully he won't regret it for the rest of his life. Tough time even getting out of the ballpark. Kevin, they got to change your clothes and send you out a different exit. Things aren't good. And unfortunately, his name has been published in several Chicago papers today. The guy could not go to work. We're not going to say his name because I think he's had enough. And you said it after the game. The Cubs lost composure because of that. That's their fault. It should happen on the field. They shouldn't let a fan interference get in the way. I
like what Moises Alou said and Mark Pryor. It was not his fault that we lost this ball game. You got to give the Florida Marlins some credit. And this is when a manager has to have his leadership skills and get this club back up. I mean, it's not doomsday. It's not over. It's Game 7 with Kerry Wood. Are you kidding me? This guy led the major leagues in strikeouts. Let's go. Forget about it. Leave this guy alone. Let's concentrate on baseball. If you're the Cubs, that's what you have to do.
There was more than one guy laying out as well. So let's get back to business, shall we? All season long, Fox Sports and Sprint have been interactive during today's games. You're going to have the chance to make your voice heard with Sprint Virtual Manager. Use your PC as a Vision phone from Sprint or log on to foxsports.com to vote. Still ahead, Derek Jeter doesn't want to sound overconfident, but he calls this the best possible situation. offensive powerhouse Nomar. The Red Sox hitting machine has managed only 15 runs in 5 games at the ALCS. Doesn't get easier today.
Yeah, no easier because they've got Andy Pettitte on the mound, 6-1 in the ACL starts for him, 5 straight. He's got the good fastball, great cut fastball that'll go in on righties. Good overhand curveball as well. Hitters will swing over the top of, and then he'll spot his change up the way as well. One guy you got to worry about right here against Andy Pettitte, Manny Ramirez, .414 batting average. 18 home runs in Yankee Stadium. He loves playing there. He grew up there. But you also got to worry about the left-handed bats as well because they got some strong bats in that lineup.
How about John Burkett telling everyone yesterday he's working on a knuckleball?
Well, he might. The knuckleball might come in. What he's got, he's a sinker ball guy. A lot like Derek Lowe. He'll flip up a breaking ball, little slider, little cutter. He's basically a ground ball pitcher, not a power pitcher by any means. Got to look for the defense to help John Burkett out. A couple guys I was talking about, though, Todd Walker, Trot Nixon, they're in the lineup against Andy Pettitte. And those are the guys you got to concentrate on also. They have 7 home runs combined. All
right, we got to get you out to the ball game. Nothing a trip to the Bronx in October can't cure, except maybe an 85-year-old headache. It's Game 6 of the ALCS with the World Series on the line next on Fox.
Welcome to a windy day in the Bronx. Welcome to a partly sunny day here in New York. We get ready for Game 6 of this 2003 American League Championship Series. The Boston Red Sox, the New York Yankees, with New York up 3-2. And now welcome to the broadcast booth. This should be the start of a fun day in 2 ballparks across baseball on Fox. Obviously Wrigley Field later on tonight with the Cubs and the Marlins. Right now it's Yankee Stadium with the Yankees up 3-2. And Tim McCarver, we've talked about it a couple of times in this series already. The pitching depth in the starting rotation for New York. They have Andy Pettitte, already 2-0 this postseason, taking on the right-hander John Burkett.
And you can't help but think, if you're a baseball fan, why not Pedro Martinez on 3 days rest? I mean, after all, it's been done 34 times during the postseason since 1999. Well, he and Grady Little talked about it. They thought it was not the smart thing to do. After all, the Red Sox have to win 2 games here. So it's Burkett tonight, and if they win, Pedro tomorrow night.
Yeah, that is the if, and Burkett a lot riding on his right shoulder. Don't worry, Tim Wakefield is available, and he will pitch if needed. On the other side, I've got Brett Boone, and if you're the New York Yankees coming back here home, you've got a 3-2 advantage. You love playing here. You have to like their position.
They've got to love their position. Coming back to Yankee Stadium, being up 3-2, I mean, for them, what's not to like? But being down on the field today, watching these Red Sox interact, having a good time, you wouldn't know that they were down 3-2. Just a series ago, they were down 2-0 to Oakland, and we all know what happened there. So it should be very interesting.
Another indication, typically after a loss, the Boston Red Sox in their clubhouse don't play any music. It's a solemn atmosphere. That wasn't the case yesterday after losing at Fenway Park. The music was blaring, and they roll into town ready to take on Pettitte and the New York Yankees. The wind is whipping around. The Yankees trying to push the Red Sox out of this postseason tournament. Red Sox trying to stand strong. Baseball yours next on Fox. Crowd here this evening at Yankee Stadium, and Santa's here trying to deliver a present here in the Bronx. And I think it would be fair to say that these fans are starting to trickle in now. Most are in their seats, and we will see what kind of a mood they're in here early. We look at the Boston Red Sox starting lineup, brought to you by State Farm. Johnny Damon leads it off, then Todd Walker. Nomar Garciaparra hitting third. They do not move him. They keep him in the number 3 spot, with Ramirez, Ortiz, and Millar in the middle. Then it's Miller, Nixon, and Jason Varitek doing the catching and batting 9th. And I think it's fair to say that you're looking at one of the quote-unquote big game pitchers that's alive and well in the game today, the left-hander Andy Pettitte.
The Yankees lost Game 1 to the Minnesota Twins in the American League in the divisional series. Andy Pettitte pitched Game 2, was dominant. He pitched Game 2 against the Red Sox when the Yankees were down 1-0. And he was good enough. A lot of ground balls, particularly to the left side of the infield. With that cut fastball down and in. Left-handers not really a problem for Andy. They batted .321. Only 2 starters this year where left-handed hitters hit over 300, and Andy Pettitte was one of them.
So far, though, lefties 1 out of 15 in this postseason against Pettitte. And we are ready to go. Wind is really howling here in the Bronx. Johnny Damon first up, and the first pitch is strike. Damon, Walker, and then Garciaparra for this surprisingly dormant Boston Red Sox offense. That's low. I mean, you're looking at a team in the Boston Red Sox that averaged 5.9 runs per game during the regular season. They led the major leagues in average and runs scored. And in the postseason, their bats have just stopped hitting. Comes up on Soriano. He recovers, 1 out. Defensively, we look at the Yankees, and Joe Torre very happy with the defensive effort he got yesterday in Game 5. And Jeter made 2 plays to chip in to back the pitching in that 4-2 Yankee victory. 2 errors in his last 50 postseason games. Here is Todd Walker, who, along with Trot Nixon, combined to give the Red Sox really their biggest threats at the plate in October. Walker's hitting over 400 this postseason, in this ALCS 500. And he's hit 5 home runs. One and one.
Andy Pettitte asking home plate umpire Angel Hernandez if he can blow on his hands, and he was given permission. Normally, you'd have to step off the mound to do that.
2 and 1.
Todd Walker's this year's version of Adam Kennedy. Last year, Adam Kennedy with 3 home runs in the American League Championship Series when the Angels clinched it against Minnesota.
Walker trying to get on to get something started for Boston. Ahead on the count, 2 and 1. Now it's 2 and 2. Walker back to Pettitte. For the Red Sox, 2 up, 2 down. Kenny Albert is back with us for these games at Yankee Stadium. Let's check in with Kenny.
Well, Joe, the winds have been swirling. The wind knocked over 2 batting practice screens like feathers earlier. Many players wore sweatshirts during batting practice. I spoke to Yankee coach Lee Mazzilli. He told me the wind could shoot a deep fly ball straight down at times. Now, Don Mattingly threw out the ceremonial first pitch. He said when he played, if the wind's blowing out to left, it's probably also blowing out to right. But the crosswind could knock down balls in the gaps. Joe.
Garciaparra takes a strike. Nomar Garciaparra drove in his first run of the postseason yesterday, but that came on a ground out. But Grady Little said it well as Garciaparra is set up at 0-2. These guys have the clock ticking on them. Hopefully they'll find their strokes before they run out of time. Down 3 games to 2. Garciaparra trying to figure out Pettitte. Ball 1. You look at the regular season compared to what's happened in the postseason, and why the Red Sox are on the short end of this 3-2 series score. Miller's average, RBIs, home runs by Ortiz. They just have not come. Still 1-2 on Garciaparra.
Key moments in yesterday's game when Garciaparra hitting with runners on at second and third early in the game, and then Manny Ramirez with the bases loaded. Of course, 2 outs at the time for both hitters, but have yet to deliver those key hits.
The 1-2. Garciaparra plunks one into right. Able to hang in there long enough and keep that bat through the zone long enough to get a hit the opposite way with 2 out.
That looked like Pam Shriver going to right there. Little lob shot. The end of the bat. Effective.
New York native Manny Ramirez stepping in with a cascade of boos here in the Bronx. After what happened on Saturday, Ramirez was a big part of it. Pedro Martinez was the instigator. And if there is a Game 7, he would hook up against Roger Clemens tomorrow night here at Yankee Stadium. And those that travel around with the Red Sox say the security forces that are here to help them in and out of the hotel and in and out of the ballpark are overwhelming.
Understandably.
Pedro Martinez has his own security force within the overall security blanket that these Red Sox are traveling with. 2-0 from Andy Pettitte. A 2-out hit by Garciaparra, and Ramirez is trying to turn that into something. A .414 career hitter against Pettitte. Good pitch on the outside part, 2-1. A picture from Saturday afternoon's fight between Pedro and Don Zimmer. On 2-1 with a runner at first, 2 out. Ramirez 2-2.
That's what Pettitte can do so well after going outside with the strike, the cutter inside. You can see that tight action on that cut fastball.
The Yankees as a team 19-8 in the 27 postseason starts in the career of the 31-year-old Pettitte. Timeout called at the plate. Hard hit, but right at Soriano. And the Red Sox do not score in the first. Yankees coming to the plate, bottom of the first, up 3-2 here in Game 6. All of New England and Red Sox fans everywhere, their hopes riding on the right arm of John Burkett. The starting lineup for the Yankees brought to you by State Farm. Soriano, Jeter, and Giambi at the top. Same lineup as yesterday's Game 5 with Williams, Posada, Matsui in the middle. Nick Johnson, Aaron Boone, and Kareem Garcia, who had a big 2-out, 2-run single in yesterday's victory for New York, batting ninth. And here is John Burkett making his first start of this ALCS.
John has to be extra fine. Rarely a fastball above 85.
Soriano pops it into center field. Johnny Damon is back. Look at the wind carry that ball all the way to the track for the first out.
Talked about John Soriano hitting the first pitch. He gets outs on balls. In other words, balls off the plate. They serve as the illusion of a strike, but he's got a very deceptive delivery, and he needs one.
He's changed a lot over the years. You know, I faced him in the early 90s, and he had a little bit more on his fastball. He'd pitch in a lot more. Nowadays, especially to the righties, he's going to stay away from me and try to bring that ball over the outside part of the plate. He's got a real slow curveball. I mean, he'll throw it 60 miles an hour sometimes, and he's just changed over the years. But that's, as you play this game longer and longer, you got to make those adjustments.
With 1 out, nobody on, here's Jeter, and there's a strike over the outside part. Jeter, a .438 career hitter against Burkett. Now, John Burkett does not have much success on his resume against the Yankees. He did beat the Yankees, however, in the division series for Texas back in '96 through a complete game. That's 7 years ago. This is inside off the plate, a ball and a strike. During the regular season, his ERA is over 8, and these are the numbers including the postseason start. A 7.44 career ERA against the Yankees. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and an overall record of 1-6. Yet these Red Sox will tell you to a man they aren't afraid of John Burkett being intimidated at all by this situation at Yankee Stadium, down 3-2. Jeter with the bases empty, 1 out, set up at a ball and 2 strikes. Clunker to Miller. Gets a high hop and throws for the out. 2 gone. Defensively, we just saw Miller make a nice play, and that's typical. Yesterday struggled on a couple of balls hit his way. In the outfield, it's Ramirez, Damon, and Nixon. And the Red Sox with 7 errors this postseason. 5 by the infielders, and Walker has 2 of them. Pettitte does the catching for Burkett, who will work with an overloaded infield and a straightaway outfield, and Giambi at the plate. That's hammered. Deep right field, at the track, at the wall. 1-0 New York. First home run this postseason for Jason Giambi.
Earlier in the postseason, we have talked about Giambi's inability to get around on a high fastball. That's been his problem. He's been hitting the ball over the plate and not out in front. Well, he got out in front of that one and hit it a ton to right center. Right down the middle of the plate. And as we said, John Burkett cannot pitch there and be successful.
Batter now is Bernie Williams. Walker stays down on it. The Yankees are finished in the first. But it's Jason Giambi. Fans around here waiting for something like this from their big DH. 3rd in his career in the postseason. First this year. 1-0 New York after 1. David Ortiz first up for Boston. He waits on a breaking ball and grounds it foul outside first. We're underway in the second. A home run by Giambi has the Yankees on top. Ortiz, Millar, and Miller for Boston here in the second. Another guy we showed you on that graphic of guys who put up huge numbers as part of a real offensive machine for this Boston Red Sox team during the regular season that is not finding the long ball. Only 1 home run after hitting 31 during the regular season. In on him, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Joe, you alluded to this during the open. There was usually no music in the Red Sox clubhouse following a loss. It was quiet initially last night after the game. Grady Little, Red Sox manager, came out of the office. He said, "Hey, Ortiz, turn the music on. We're not dead yet."
And that is really Grady's style. I mean, that doesn't surprise me that he would say that. And he's also a guy that when you go in and ask him questions, he tries to keep it simple. He says, "What do you want me to do? Put Garciaparra on the bench?" Messina's lost 2 games in this series. You think if they advance, Joe Torre won't start him in the World Series? We have to keep doing what we've been doing with the same guys and hope the time doesn't run out. 1-2 pitch. 1 out. First strikeout for Andy Pettitte.
Good job by Andy. After coming inside, he gets Ortiz on the outside cut fastball. Use that term cutter so much with Andy Pettitte. You feel like you're doing an Emerald Live appearance.
Red Sox 6 wins in their last 7 games when facing elimination in the postseason. And of course, they were down 2-0, then won those 3 to get past Oakland. First pitch, a strike on the outside corner to Millar. So Ortiz shaking his head in the dugout. Millar's been shaking his head after at bats a lot as well. Saw him before the game in the tunnel. He said, "Excuse me, guys, I got to go try to find my swing." And he went down into the batting cage. He has only 1 RBI this postseason. Knocked home 96 during the regular season. 1-1 from the glove of Pettitte. Off the bat of Millar and foul, strike 2. Tim and Brett, what did you guys think of what transpired last night in that 8th inning at Wrigley Field? Tim, it was startling to say the least. But the one thing I don't hear, the Florida Marlins getting any credit for coming off the deck and coming up with 8 in the 8th. I mean, they are a tough team.
Well, they took advantage of 2 mistakes last night. Really one mistake. I mean, the mistake when Moises Alou leans into the stands, a lot of people may not know that that is the domain of the fan. If he were to interfere out on the field, on the playing surface with the fly ball, well, obviously the batter would be out. I say obviously, but that's the rule.
Back-to-back strikeouts to start this 2nd inning. Miller is coming up. We look back at last night in this play down the right field line. Alou clearly has a shot at it, but I thought Kevin made a good point in our pregame. The wind was blowing that ball back from left to right, and I'm frankly getting tired of everybody pinning it on that fan who, I think in a natural reaction, reaches up for a foul ball that's about to plop down on top of his seat.
Well, I think any fan that goes to the game.
That's for Matsui, and the wind pushes it over his head. Miller will cruise into second with a misplayed ball in left that may go as a double. And it is a double with 2 out here in the 2nd for Miller.
Curveball hit well, but on a normal day, Matsui sucks that ball up.
You don't know what the wind's doing out there. Sorry. Getting back to the play at Wrigley last night, I think any fan paying the money they're paying to go to see the game is going to do the exact same thing. Have a chance to get a souvenir. Plus, it was in the crowd. Of course, Moises was very frustrated by the situation, but I think if any of the fans out there want to be critical of it, I think they would have done the same thing. I know if I was there, I would have done it.
Sure. On top of that, the fans looking up at the ball. He's not looking down to where Alou is. Alou's not calling him off on the play. I mean, let's be realistic about it. With a runner at second, 2 out, a chance to tie it with a hit. Nixon takes a breaking ball in for a strike. And what's disappointing, and I think along some lines despicable, is now that fan's name is out in public. And if the Cubs don't come back and win tonight after that heartbreak last night, well, I shudder to think at what his life will be like around the Chicago area.
He'll have a nice life when he moves down to Florida.
Runner at second, 2 out. And a pitch inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. That game is coming up right after this game. Game 7. Marlins and Cubs. Redmond against Kerry Wood.
After that play, the ground ball to Alex Gonzalez, an error on Gonzalez, and that opened the floodgates to 8 runs scored by the Marlins.
The 1-1 pitch. Down and into Nixon. And you mentioned the error by Gonzalez. That's the play of the inning.
Sure.
I mean, you can say what you want about the play along the stands, and to say that Alou, it's a given that he makes that catch, comes down, hangs onto it with his arm hanging over that brick railing, and the rail on top of that brick, I think, is assuming a lot as well. But then the error, and then big hits by the Marlins, and they are a fun team to watch. Here's a 2-1 pitch. A squirter off the end of the bat. Pettitte spins, gets the out. The Red Sox get a double blown over the head by Miller over Matsui and Strandeman after an inning and a half in Game 6. 1-0 New York. This game moves into the bottom of the 2nd. For the Yankees, it'll be Posada, Matsui, and Nick Johnson. Aaron Boone, if anybody gets on, against John Burkett. A strike misses outside. Actually, a pitch misses outside. Pretty close delivery, and Angel Hernandez is the one working the plate. Burkett does not get the corner. Ball 1. Posada so far in this ALCS, 5 out of 17. The 1-0. 2-0. For a guy like Burkett, who is going to live on the edges of the plate, so much can rest with the home plate umpire. As Posada is jammed a bit, and fights it off into center field for Johnny Damon, 1 out. Our Sprint Virtual Manager question is, should Pedro Martinez have started today for the Red Sox? Yes or no? To answer the question, use your PCS Vision phone from Sprint or log on to foxsports.com. Keyword MLB on Fox. We have our little phones up here ready to type away, and initially my reaction was going into the park yesterday, well, if the Red Sox don't win Game 5, then they've got to start Pedro in Game 6, and I'm kind of starting to back off that a little bit.
I am too, particularly after talking to Grady Little, saying that you know, Pedro just doesn't do that. He's only done that one time in his major league career. That was back in 1995 when he pitched for the
fly ball into right off the bat of Matsui and into the glove of Nixon. 2 out.
That was 2 years before his first Cy Young Award, when he was pitching with the Montreal Expos. And at that time, he'd been knocked out after throwing about 38 pitches. He came back after 2 days rest. Pedro Martinez pitching in the bullpen initially. He's got like 55 appearances in the bullpen, but he doesn't do that. I mean, they've done it a lot in past postseasons, but that is not his.
Well, I think also, us sitting up here, it's easy to say, but we don't know what's really going on down in that clubhouse. I think if Pedro felt good about it, if Grady felt good about it, you see him out here today. But for whatever reason, I think they made the best decision for the Boston Red Sox.
If anything, the Red Sox over the years have tried to find extra rest for Pedro.
Right.
To take some of the taxing pressure and stress and work off that arm. And he's been bothered by ailments over the years, nothing catastrophic. And the Red Sox, who picked up the option for $17.5 million next year, have that in mind as well. But I think the initial reaction is, well, if you're going to even think about a Game 7, you've got to win a Game 6. They should go with their best, and maybe their best shot is Burkett and a long bullpen in Game 6, and Pedro Martinez getting an extra day pitching in Game 7 if this series goes there. Check swing foul. 1-2 on Nick Johnson.
Well, clearly, as you look at Pedro's numbers against the Yankees, 500 and then 96-20 against everybody else, but clearly Pedro did not have his best stuff the other day. He actually started throwing harder after the fight, but before that he was throwing a lot of breaking balls, and he looked like something was wrong with him. So he certainly was not at his peak performance on Saturday night.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Johnson. Johnson so far only 3 hits in this ALCS. With 2 out, nobody on. The opposite way for a base hit. Good piece of hitting by Johnson. He's on with 2 out.
Nick Johnson with 2 strikes, a very good opposite field hitter. You can see right on contact. Look at the ball, look at the head, right on the ball. Good piece of hitting, as Joe said.
So now a man on with 2 out for New York, and Aaron Boone stepping in. Boone 2 hits in this series. They both came yesterday. Strike 1.
There's that slow curveball. I think that's the first one he's thrown tonight. As he gets into the game and he starts feeling comfortable, if he's got the control working with that curl, he'll throw it slower than that, and it's a good pitch for him.
The 0-1. A late swing and a foul back. Strike 2. So an 85-mile-an-hour pitch, and Aaron Boone, after looking at that slow curve, tardy on that swipe, and it's 0-2.
One thing the Red Sox have done with Aaron during the series is, with 2 strikes, go away out of the strike zone.
Pettitte thinking, what else do you have? Shook off 3 pitches, and Boone checks his swing on a pitch in the dirt. 1-2.
That looked like a splitter.
It was.
Burkett went curveball. The pinky was a fastball outside. And then he went to the splitter, and it was a split fastball out of the strike zone.
And when it comes down, he pitches a lot like Greg Maddux. He likes to throw that backdoor sinker to the outside part of the plate. And if he's, yeah.
Garciaparra flips for the out.
Gets a lot of
6-4
that.
on the force out. And the Yankees leave a man. We go to the third inning here in Game 6. Yankees up on the Giambi home run. Number 9 hitter first up for Boston. That means Pettitte, then Johnny Damon, then Todd Walker. Red Sox have had 2 odd hits in each of the first 2 innings. A single by Garciaparra. Ramirez grounded out. A double last inning by Miller, and Nixon hit it back to Pettitte. And Pettitte did not like that strike call over the inside part given by Angel Hernandez, the home plate umpire. That's hammered into left field. Back at the wall to tie this thing. Home run, Pettitte into the upper deck. And it's 1-1 here in the third inning. Already his 4th home run of this postseason. And it was only a question as to how far it would fly, and it went a long way.
Mercy did it ever. 2nd home run of the series against Pettitte. He doubled and homered in Game 2. Hanging curveball. My gosh.
Nobody on or out. Back to the top of the order, and Damon takes a strike.
Ooh. Red Boone's ready to go get his bat. Seeing pitches like that.
My bats are put away.
The 0-1. Damon takes ball 1. But we talked countless times about the strength of this lineup top to bottom. There isn't a weak area. And their number 9 hitter Pettitte hit 25 home runs during the regular season. He's hitting 9th, and he just clubbed his 4th of this postseason. Strike 2 on Damon, who bunted and foul. Game 7 from Wrigley Field is coming up right after this game. Kerry Wood, Mark Redmond. A 1-2 pitch to Damon. 2-2. Coming into this game, the Red Sox were averaging 3.2 runs per game. Only 32 runs scored this entire postseason. And really, it's been a reversal of what they did during the regular season. Their pitching's been good. Their bullpen relief work has been outstanding.
Superb.
And that was a problem for the Red Sox all season. A big reason why they finished 6 games behind the Yankees. Their major league ranks this season up and down that line. And a walk to Damon puts him on with nobody out here in the third inning.
That's what the Red Sox are looking for, some early base runners. When you get base runners on with 2 outs, for the most part, you have to get a hit to drive them in. Get them on with nobody out, you can push them along and push them around the bases. No sacrifices in this series. Of course, Todd Walker, one of the hottest hitters for the Red Sox. I wouldn't suspect that he'd be up there, Bunny.
You would think this wouldn't figure to be a 1 or 2 run game. And Grady Little said, hey, that wind blowing around, we'll be happy to get into a 15-14 shootout with these guys. We'll take our chances.
Grady said, we've done that before.
So the bunt is unlikely. Red Sox during this series have started the runners, trying to advance runners and get some action going on the bases. And we've had strike them out, throw them out double plays. We had that 3 games in a row.
Yeah, the Red Sox have 1 stolen base, 4 caught stealing.
Walker leans back from ball 1.
I think, too, with Boston, it's not a team that bunts a lot, like, you know, with all the records they set this year. But also in this series, you've got to go with the situation of the game. The game's got to dictate. And I haven't seen any situations either side late in the game where the bunt was a good play.
Damon on, nobody out. Walker at the plate. Garciaparra on deck, and a visit from Posada as Pettitte, rattled by the home run to start the inning, walked Damon, and now it's 2-0 on Todd Walker.
This is a key guy right here. I mean, if Walker gets on, that could open up things for a big inning by the Red Sox, because you've got Garciaparra and Ramirez back-to-back with nobody out and 2 on. So Andy Pettitte has to get Todd Walker. Very, very important man right here.
Red Sox trying to get something going. 2 balls, no strikes. And that's hit hard but foul.
Ball 3. That ball tailing in off the plate. Todd probably looking for something to hit. And the Yankees, as they have done, that's a ball. That ball's about 5 inches inside. But the Yankees have done that throughout the series. When they've been behind in the count, they still try to pitch guys inside, and have done a pretty good job at it.
A 2-1 base hit. Damon will go to second, think about it, and hold as Garcia comes up throwing. It's first and second, nobody out. A home run, a walk, a single. And here is that situation that the Red Sox have been hoping for. And here is a spot for Nomar Garciaparra, if he's ever going to bust out of this slump, to do it right here for the Red Sox, as Mel Stottlemyre will come out and talk to Andy Pettitte. Boston needs a big blow from their big bat. Garciaparra came into this series a .358 career hitter in the postseason. And not only has he had very few hits, he has only 3 in this series, but along the way he has not had a lot of good rips. First time up, he hung in there long enough to flare a base hit to right. Red Sox and their fans have to hope that'll get him going. Damon the runner at second. Walker on at first. Good speed on for Boston.
Alfonso Soriano just told second base umpire Terry Kraft to move to his right a little bit. He was blocking his view.
Garciaparra takes a strike.
Brett, I would imagine trying to hold that runner on at second base, a lot of times you're going right behind the umpire.
Yeah, I mean, you want to position him to where you get ready to field the ground ball. He's not in your way. Right now, he's in his way, but I think when the pitch is going to be delivered, he's not going to be in that position.
1 ball, 1 strike, and Garciaparra. Manny Ramirez waits on deck. Nomar no doubt pressing, trying to pick out the right pitch. Left side, Jeter in the hole, will flip to third for the out, 1 away.
That is not a routine play. Quick thinking by Derek Jeter. Normally shortstops are geared to go to second base on this ball, but Jeter takes the short throw knowing he's not going to get 2 anyway.
Good work by Boone to get to the bag. Be interested if we get the chance, and this is a big at bat by Ramirez, to look at the feet of Aaron Boone.
I was thinking the same thing.
It looked like he had his foot on the base. Runners on at first and second, 1 out. Manny Ramirez at the plate. Ball 1.
Looks like he was straddling the bag, was he? Heel on the bag. Normally you don't get a neighborhood play at third like you do at second. Yeah, he was on it.
So the out at third. Garciaparra runs the bases at first. Walker on at second with 1 out. The count's 2-0 on Manny Ramirez. A home run by Pettitte started this third inning and tied it. Ramirez was taking all the way. Wasn't even ready to hit, and it's 3-0.
Now I find that very odd.
He knew he was going to throw him a ball.
There's a 2-0 fastball down, but as you can see, Ramirez taking all the way.
Now it's 3-0. On deck is a lefty Ortiz. On 4 pitches, a walk to Ramirez to load the bases. And David Ortiz is now the man on the spot. 2 walks in the inning, 2 hits. But so far for Boston, only 1 run.
I don't think Andy Pettitte wanted any part of Ramirez, even though there's 1 out, runners on at first and second. Normally, you do not see a pitcher pitching around the hitter in that situation. But it was pretty clear. None of those balls were even close to Ramirez. He'll take his chances with Ortiz.
The wind blowing hot dog wrappers all over this stadium. Littering the field, and with the bases loaded, 1 out, Ortiz floats one into left center field. The Red Sox will take the lead. 2 runs come home, and it's 3-1 Boston. You talk about a nice, easy, controlled swing by David Ortiz. He wasn't trying to do too much, and he gets a base hit the opposite way to put Boston on top.
It was the same pitch he struck out on his first time up. Go there 1 time, fine. The second time, Ortiz burns the Yankees in Pettitte. Matsui goes to third base. 2-run score. That's not a given for Garciaparra at second base because Jeter came awfully close to catching that ball. Big hit by Ortiz.
Now Boston looks for more with Millar at the plate. Ball 1.
Close enough to often hold that runner at second base. Garciaparra had the best view, especially since he's a shortstop.
He took off and scored without a play. Now Millar. Little flare into center field, might drop, will drop. Manny Ramirez was off with a crack of the bat. Scores without a play, and it's 4-1.
Very good base running by Ramirez. Not known for his base running, but he did take off. Checking Bernie Williams, realizing Williams had to play deep in center field. Look at Ramirez, not even looking back. That's what happens when you check your outfielders. You can see Ortiz delaying a bit, but Ramirez took off with the crack of the bat and scores easily.
Runner still on at first and second with 1 out. Now it's Bill Miller. Switch hitting third baseman. Miller takes ball 1, and Pettitte has been behind. Except for that first pitch strike to Pettitte, he's been behind every hitter this inning.
The only out in this inning was a hanging curveball where Nomar jammed himself.
In a series that has been largely devoid of offense, this is the biggest inning for either side in this series. Already, Heredia and Contreras getting loose. The 1-1 from Pettitte. Left side for Boone. The second out. Over to first. Out to end the inning. 8 men to the plate for Boston. They've been waiting for an inning like that, and they get it here in Game 6. They came in down by a run. They leave the top of the 3rd, leading, facing elimination today, up 4-1. John Burkett now has a 3-run lead. Bottom of the 3rd inning, number 9 man will lead it off for New York. Kareem Garcia. Soriano will follow, and then Jeter. And again, Garcia digs his way in right on top of the plate as he takes ball 1 from Burkett.
Prior to the game, we asked manager Grady Little about Tim Wakefield. Would he be ready in long relief? He said limited long relief.
Yeah, I had a chance to run across Wakefield on the way through that clubhouse, and he was iffy. He said, I don't know. I'm about to find out, to go out to play catch. And I think it's fair to say he wasn't jumping up and down at the prospects of having to come back 2 days later and pitch after his 2nd victory of this series came in Game 4. The 1-1. Garcia way out in front, 1-2. And they were joking about Burkett. Burkett saying, I'm thinking about throwing the knuckleball today, but he is the type pitcher that keeps, when he's on, keeps the opposing hitters off balance like that. You swing at the changeup way out in front and then take a fastball over the inside corner for the first out of the inning and Burkett's first strikeout.
Well, that's what pitching's all about. When he swung at that strike 2 pitch, he was set up for that pitch inside, the little tailing fastball with which Red Sox fans are familiar. Those are the 2 strikeouts Derek Lowe in Game 5 of the division series.
Now it's Soriano. Tim, you and I were there for one of Burkett's best starts this season. No, says the first base umpire Tim McClellan. Soriano did not offer it that pitch. Looked like he came awfully close. He didn't.
Ooh.
How can they call that a ball?
He went through the ball. Well, the ball went under his bat.
McClellan blew that call. Ball 1 is the count. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-1. We were there at Fenway Park on that Saturday afternoon, July 26th, when Burkett was tremendous against the Yankees. 5 2/3 innings, no runs, 3 hits. He got a no decision. Boston won the game 5-4. After the bullpen blew the lead, it was David Ortiz who won it for the Red Sox.
That was after Pedro Martinez had lost on Friday night. So Martinez lost. Burkett picked the club up and pitched very well in an important game in late July.
Another good pitch by Burkett. It's 2-2.
I think Soriano may see this pitch again. A slider off the plate away, an indication of how Burkett works. He works off the plate to get outs.
How about that pitch? Off the end of the bat into center and caught by Damon for the out. Pettitte was almost sheepish in the way he gave the sign, and then Burkett had a little delay in his delivery, almost stopped at the top, and Soriano flies into center. A good catch by Damon.
Well, you could see Pettitte flopping that mitt down, 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 and a good play by Johnny Damon to make the play. But again, the ball off the plate.
Did you see Burkett stop in the middle of that windup?
That's his eephus pitch. I told you he's got one that he throws sometimes 58 miles an hour. He only pauses on that pitch, too.
With 2 out, that's ball 1 to Jeter. Here it is, normal speed.
You still can't wait for it.
One ball, no strikes on Jeter. 2 out, nobody on. Only hitting .217 in this ALCS. on the inside corner. A ball and a strike. And Burkett is hitting his spots here early. Off the hands, 1-2.
Just like darts at the local tavern. That's a double 50.
And it's 1-2 on Jeter. It's almost like the radar gun is stuck on 85 every time Burkett throws a fastball. It's 85 but with movement. Up the middle, a 2-out hit. And that will bring in Jason Giambi, who's already homered here this afternoon with 2 out.
Here we are in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and that's the 5th 2-out hit after the first 2 have been retired. 2 for the Red Sox, 3 for the Yankees. The difference being the home run that Giambi hit was a 2-out, nobody on situation.
That's low for ball 1. Back in the first. Pitch came right back over the heart of the plate. And Giambi got rid of it. A 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Remember the other night when we were talking about a guy hitting an inside fastball out of the ballpark and coming back with it again? That's what Burkett just did to Giambi.
Yeah, a lot of times as a hitter, I know as a hitter, rule of thumb, you hit a ball your first at bat out of the park, off the wall. Whatever that pitch is, a lot of times you can eliminate that pitch later in the ball game. And the guys that come right back with that same pitch again and again are the guys that confuse you a little bit.
The 1-1. Took something off, down and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Like a splitter or a ball that he turned over. Some pitchers do both. They turn over the splitter. A lot of times you'll see that arm going to the outside like a screwball pitcher's.
Andy Pettitte struggled in the top of the inning. John Burkett trying to get through the bottom half. It's 4-1 Boston here in game 6. Doesn't get the call, and it's 2-2.
That's the grip there, adjusted in the glove.
Just low with Angel Hernandez flinching behind the plate. It's 3-2, and now Millar will go over and tell Burkett he's going to play behind the runner.
Hernandez called it for low. It was very, very close. It's over the plate, as you can see. Called the ball low.
Into the defense. Walker takes care of Giambi, and Burkett takes care of New York. We go to the 4th inning. Red Sox will bat and send in Nixon, Varitek, and Damon. They lead it by 3. Major League Baseball is giving away World Series tickets for life and other great prizes. Winning hologram numbers will be announced during games 1 through 4 of this World Series coming up. The Ultimate World Series Pass presented by Radio Shack. We present to you the top of the 4th inning with Trot Nixon in to lead it off. Nixon 0 for 1. He bounced back to Pettitte his first time, and he takes a strike. We talked about the message that Tim Wakefield had recorded for the message board at Fenway Park, trying to implore the fans to be respectful while at the ballpark. And here at Yankee Stadium, I've heard it twice. I don't know if it's happened more than twice. I've had Bob Shepard read an announcement here over the public address system about respecting the people at the ballpark and acting the proper way while inside Yankee Stadium. As that hits the inside corner, and the count's 1-2 on Nixon.
When Bob Shepard speaks, it's almost as though it's from above.
Yeah, it's like the voice of God.
Yes.
Nixon chases a bad ball down and away. 1 out. 3 strikeouts now for Pettitte.
That's what you could get from a hitter with 2 strikes. That's why it's so important to get ahead of the hitter. Only 28% of the home runs hit in the major leagues this year were hit on 2-strike pitches.
What's the percentage of balls hit into the upper deck down the left field line?
Not very well.
Here at Yankee Stadium, and that's what Pettitte did his first time up.
And the Red Sox scored 4. Usually you don't see a multi-run inning after a leadoff home run.
1 ball, 1 strike. Two and 1. Pettitte, a switch hitting catcher. 273 average during the regular season. Waits for a 2-1 and fouls away strike number 2. A hanging breaking ball. Pettitte hung it up into the upper deck. Boom, it goes right under his glove. Pettitte is on with 1 out on what should be an error on Aaron Boone. It would be his 2nd of the postseason.
Aaron coming up on the ball, and the ball stays down.
It is an error. It is number 2 after committing 6 during the regular season. So it's 1 on 1 out, and Johnny Damon, who's 0 for 1 with a walk, steps to the plate. And pops it up. Into shallow left. Matsui puts it away. 2 out. And the inning will continue for Todd Walker, who singled in that 4-run 3rd inning. The Yankees in the bottom of this 4th will have Bernie Williams, Jorge Posada, and Hideki Matsui. And so far, John Burkett is giving the Red Sox everything they could have hoped for. He's had his control. He's hit his spots. And he has a 3-run lead here in the 4th.
Todd Walker is giving the Red Sox everything they could have hoped for in the postseason. One key hit after another.
In this case, back in the 3rd inning, doing it against the left-handed pitching of Pettitte. Good pitch, 1 ball, 1 strike. Walker came into this game hitting .308 this postseason against left-handed pitching. 1-1. Strike 2. And this crowd, which has been taken out of it by that 4-run third inning, will try to get behind Pettitte and get him out of this top of the fourth.
Hearing and talking to Jerry Rimming, a terrific announcer for the Red Sox. He has talked many times about a delayed steal with Jason Varitek. Jason, the only Red Sox to do it. If he were to do something like that right now, would be a good shot to do it.
Walker golfs it into right center field. Bernie Williams to his left ends the inning. An error in the inning, and Pettitte pitches around it. 4 now left on the afternoon for the Red Sox. Bottom of the fourth inning, 4-1 Boston. Brady Little never wavered about his Game 6 starter. After the rain caused a postponement and cancellation of that Sunday night game, the Red Sox came back with Wakefield and then Derek Lowe. And all along, he said Burkett will pitch Game 6. People around the media, around the team, people questioning, didn't want to accept it. He kept saying, look, I'm telling you, Burkett is pitching Game 6. Well, Burkett is pitching Game 6, and he has a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Bernie Williams in a 4-1 fourth inning lead. Burkett is 38 years old. He came up with the Giants in '87. A 22-game winner in '93. A much different pitcher now than he was back then. As the count goes to 2-1 on Williams. He's been with Florida for 2 years. Was with Texas for 3.5 years. Atlanta in 2000, 2001. And he's been with the Red Sox the last 2. He's won 25 games the last 2 years. It's 2-1 to Williams. That's Millar. A diving stop, a flip for the out. Nice play by Kevin Millar. 1 out.
Count 2 balls and 1 strike. Millar looked like he was cheating toward the line a little bit. Kind of smothers the ball. Shuffles it off to Burkett for the out. Good play.
I think what's most impressive so far is that we've gone 3+ innings, and one of the 3 of us have mentioned Burkett's love of bowling.
It's almost like when he toes the rubber, he's looking to bowl yet another 300 game. He's bowled 10 of them.
Staring in and delivering a strike.
How do you come up with?
Oh, I mean, they just keep coming. You can't slow them down.
Spare me, will you? Come on.
Oh, it's uncanny.
The 0-1 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Let's check in with an avid bowler himself, Kenny Albert.
Well, Joe, I don't know about that, but I did speak to Burkett this season about his bowling, and he pointed out the targets as a pitcher and a bowler are the exact same distance, 60 feet away.
There's a new piece of information. The 1-1 in the air to right field. Nixon will play it on a bounce, actually 2, and it's a 1-out single for Posada. 1 on, 1 out. Hideki Matsui is coming up for New York tonight. Baseball's postseason continues at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific here on Fox. The decisive Game 7 of the NLCS. The Florida Marlins try to complete their comeback. They send Mark Redmond to the mound. The Cubs hand the ball to Kerry Wood. They try to win their first NL pennant in 58 years. Sports' biggest month of the year continues tonight only on Fox. You don't have to watch that Florida Marlins team for long to realize how dangerous they are, with speed at the top, guys in the middle that can thump it. They have pitching. They have a starting rotation that's good enough. It's young, but it's good enough in the bullpen with Uguet Urbina, who's with the Boston Red Sox a year ago, closing games now in place of Braden Looper. 1 ball, no strikes on Matsui. 2-0. Nicole Kidman here checking out Game 6 of this ALCS. You never know who you might find in the seats here at Yankee Stadium. People from all walks of life. 2-0 the count. Matsui takes a strike. And there's an example, small example. But if you're Burkett, you're 2-0 on Matsui, a home run threat of the plate, and he threads the needle on the outside corner for strike one instead of just laying it in there. Posada on at first with one out, and a jam shot into left center field. Going up, Garciaparra didn't come close to it, and it's first and third, one out. A flare hit by Matsui, and the Yankees have something working here in the fourth.
Sometimes you make too good a pitch. You get it in too close to a hitter, you jam him, and he doesn't hit it hard enough to carry it to the outfielder. Posada with a good read immediately. Goes to third without a play.
And here's an opportunity for Nick Johnson. First and third, one out. Tying run at the plate. And this crowd is definitely back. No action for the Red Sox in their bullpen right now, but everybody, with the exception of Lowe and Pedro Martinez, available in that pen for Boston. That includes Wakefield, who's already won 2 games in this ALCS.
Grady Little said he would not use Jeff Suppan to get out of an inning, but he'd use another pitcher, a short reliever perhaps, to get out of the inning and then go to Suppan in a long relief situation.
Johnson takes a ball. Nick with a good at bat his first time up, went the other way with 2 strikes and got a base hit to left. Aaron Boone waits to hit next. Three and one.
Red Sox looking for a ground ball hit hard at someone on the infield.
There is the action in the Red Sox bullpen. Bronson Arroyo. The Yankees with a good opportunity here. 3-1 pitch. Hit high and deep into right center field. That ball is going to get down, and it's a ground rule double. It came back onto the field of play. It is a double. So Matsui will have to go back to third. Nick Johnson will have to go back to second. And instead of a 2-run triple, it's a 1-run double, and it's a 4-2 game.
We've seen that several times in this series. They're ground rule doubles as Johnson just turns on an inside fastball. Again, that's the problem, coming inside when you're behind in the count. But this ball clearly bounces up. It's right against the yellow wall. And the Yankees do not get a break as Joe West flashes 2 bases. Matsui would have scored easily. As you said, Joe Johnson has a triple. But it was a ground rule double.
And now runners on at second and third, 1 out, and Aaron Boone with his biggest at bat of this series coming up. Boone 0 for 1 today, 2 out of 13 in this series with no RBIs. To the shortstop, a run scores, a 1-run game out at first, 2 away. So Boone knocks home his first run of the postseason, and it's 4-3 here in the 4th. Kareem Garcia bats with the runner at second, Johnson, and 2 out. Garcia-Parra to his left, kicks it, and the inning will continue.
We saw Aaron Boone come up on a ball the last half inning. And now we see Garcia-Parra do the same thing.
Both balls were pretty similar. Both of them thought they would have that little hop, and they just both stayed down. Timmy, I think you were talking about it. Now look back to that play and how important it is that it was a ground rule double, because right now it's a tie ball game.
But with that error, and it is an error on Garcia-Parra, it's first and third, 2 out, and Soriano stands in. Arroyo ready to go, but it's Burkett against Soriano. Into center field, left center field. That ball's going to get down, go all the way to the wall. Garcia cruising from first. Yankees take the lead.
This ball started out like it was going to be a Johnny Damon in center field, and it hooked into left center. That's how hard Soriano hits the ball, and the Yankees take the lead.
2 unearned runs, and the Yankees on top now in the 4th. Two unearned runs scoring on that double by Soriano. Unearned because of the error by Nomar Garcia-Parra on the ball hit by Garcia.
A pillar of a player for the Red Sox for so long. This error by Garcia-Parra leads to the double by Soriano, scoring 2 Yankee runners, and they once again take the lead.
You know, and I think you feel for guys when you're up here and you're watching it. And sometimes the game seems a little bit easier, but you feel for guys like Nomar, who's such a great player. Nobody feels worse right now than he does. I know I've made dumb plays, stupid errors, and it seems the next guy gets a hit, and all of a sudden you're feeling you want to pick up your pitcher wants to pick up you, and it's not a good feeling.
Chance for more for the Yankees. A runner at second, Soriano, 2 out for Jeter. Bronson Arroyo takes over, and strike 1 as that's fouled out of play.
This game can be very evil, Timmy.
Arroyo pitched a shutout inning yesterday. A walk and a strikeout worked the top of the ninth, and here he is back into the action, and this is the start of a long day for the Boston bullpen. Trying to extend this series to tomorrow night. Down 3-2 and now trailing 5-4. 1 ball, 1 strike. It unraveled in a hurry on John Burkett. Garciaparra could not make the play in and to his left. And instead of a 2-run inning, it's a 4-run inning with a chance for more for New York. Two balls and a strike. Andy Pettitte, when he goes back to work, will deal with Garciaparra, Ramirez, and Ortiz. The heart of the order for the Red Sox. 2-1 pitch. 3-1 with Giambi on deck. Two on, two out. You get the feeling this game is hanging in the balance right now. The Boston Red Sox are going to stay in it and have a chance. Arroyo has got to make good pitches against Giambi. It's already been a 4-run 4th inning.
I had that same feeling when Garciaparra and Ramirez were up with runners on at first and second, nobody out for the Red Sox. Back when the game was tied in the 3rd inning. This might be one of those games that flip-flop back and forth from key moment to key moment.
Ball 1 low and away. Arroyo has faced one batter, walked Jeter, and now Suppan, who was added to the list for Grady Little coming into this ALCS, is getting loose. A 1-0. In at the knees, a ball and a strike.
Remember, we said Grady Little said that he would have one pitcher come in to get out of the inning and Suppan to pick up in a long situation. And the left-hander, Scott Sauerbeck, I would imagine. No, it's a right-hander. Todd Jones, perhaps, is up and throwing. There's Todd in the foreground.
2 on, 2 out. Giambi somehow got out of the way of that pitch. 2-1. Pedro Martinez just out and onto the bench. His numbers from game 3. Had been undefeated in the postseason in his career prior to Saturday.
Three straight breaking balls to Giambi.
Big swing, 2-2.
Good fastball on the hands to Jason Giambi.
That would be the matchup in game 7 tomorrow night. Clemens and Pedro Martinez. But the Red Sox just hoping to get out of this 4th inning, keeping it a 1-run game. Launched by Giambi toward the upper deck, down the line, and foul.
That's the pitch that Giambi has not been handling. He's been hitting it over the plate instead of getting the bat out front. He gets it out front, but too much so. Pulls it foul.
Yankees have reclaimed the lead. Runners go, and Giambi fouls it away. We talked about this earlier in the series, that with this shift on, and Bill Miller so far away from the bag at third base, it'd be like a timing play trying to throw out Soriano, trying to get to third on a steal. You've got all of these infielders, at least 3 of them out of position with Giambi at the plate.
It's a timing play for the trail runner, too. Derek Jeter is very fast, but you don't know whether the runner at second base has a good jump or not. You don't want to wander off too far, otherwise you get caught in between.
Well, they're giving Soriano third base. 2-2 pitch, blowing away, and now the runners will go. Miller moves even more off the bag, playing at a regular shortstop position. The inning comes to a close. The Yankees come up with 4 runs, 2 unearned. Reclaim the lead. It's 5-4 after 4. New York on top. Back after this from your local Fox station. 4 runs in the top of the 3rd inning for the Red Sox. 4 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning for the Yankees. It's now 5-4 New York, and Nomar Garciaparra digs his way in. Garciaparra, Manny Ramirez, and David Ortiz, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters for Pettitte, who has thrown 73 pitches already. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fell behind 1 hitter after another in the 3rd inning, and paid a 4-run price. 1-2 on Garciaparra. Nice piece of hitting by Garciaparra, was jammed, went up and got it, and floats it into center field for his 2nd hit of the evening.
John Burkett made a good pitch on Hideki Matsui, and Matsui got a very important hit in the bottom of the 4th. And now Pettitte makes a good pitch on Garciaparra, and he hits it into center field.
And here's Manny Ramirez. He walked his last time to load the bases prior to the David Ortiz 2-run hit into left. Would later come around to score. The RBI hit by Millar. Tying run is on, nobody out, 5th inning, and a check on Garciaparra by Pettitte. The Red Sox facing elimination, down 3 games to 2, trailing by a run here in the top of the 5th of Game 6. And again, there's action now for the Yankees in their bullpen.
Yeah, this is the 4th time in this postseason that the Red Sox have faced elimination. 3 times against the Athletics. They won 2 in Boston, 1 in Oakland. Now facing it once again here in Yankee Stadium.
Pettitte falls behind with ball 1. He has stayed away from Manny Ramirez. In fact, even with 2 on, and the runners at 1st and 2nd and only 1 out, it looked like Pettitte pitched around Manny Ramirez's last time up. Has to come after him here. 1 ball, no strikes. And again, it's away. It's 2-0.
That was the key to that inning. David Ortiz, after walking Ramirez and walking the bases loaded, David Ortiz with a big base hit into left center field, scoring 2.
Comes Mel Stottlemyre. They weren't thrilled with the way Pettitte was pitching in the first couple of innings of Game 2 of this ALCS. They were hoping that Pettitte would figure it out, work his way through it, and he did. Struggling to throw strikes here in Game 6, and another visit. This week, it's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. First, Brett Favre and the Packers trying to rebound from a heartbreaking loss when they take on Mark Bolger and the high-flying Rams, and they are flying high again. Then the Bucs try to win their second straight as they battle Terrell Owens and the 49ers. Our other regional action coverage begins Sunday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox. The biggest stories are in the NFC. The NFC is on Fox. So Contreras is up and getting ready for the second time in this game. We're only in the fifth. Into center field, and Bernie Williams is right there for out number one. It's really kind of an interesting choice that Contreras is the guy that's up. Now, obviously, he's been a starter, and he's a guy that can give you a lot of innings. But he has established himself as the primary setup guy to get to Mariano Rivera, and if Joe Torre can avoid it, he didn't want to use Rivera for 2 innings again today after using him for 2 yesterday. So by getting Contreras up twice here early, Joe Torre is telling us that he is willing to bring him in the middle innings.
A lot of flexibility in Joe Torre's use of Contreras.
David Ortiz now looking to launch, and he came up empty, strike one. Ortiz, a 2-run single the opposite way his last time up, struck out his first time. That's low, a ball and a strike. Ortiz, a late addition to this Boston Red Sox team. The Yankees, in particular George Steinbrenner, one of the Yankees to go out and get Ortiz. He ended up with the Red Sox, and he's a big reason why Boston got to the postseason with his work in the second half of 2003.
Brian Cashman telling George Steinbrenner, hey, you got Nick Johnson, Jason Giambi, where are we going to put him?
Ortiz hit 28 of his 31 home runs in the last 78 games of the season. He waits for a 1-1. Down into the corner. Foul. Strike two.
That was a hanger. Watch how this ball just sets inside. Pulled foul.
Another meeting on the mound.
I think Posada was brief. Don't do that again.
You can avoid throwing hanging breaking balls. From here on out, let's do that. Runner at first, 1 out, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ortiz watches Pettitte step off.
Down 2 fingers for a breaking ball. Pettitte's thrown 3 in a row. Just hung one, and now Ortiz said, let's do it again. Yeah, no breaking ball here.
Now Ortiz steps out. Got him on the outside corner, and Ortiz is hot.
Well, that ball was not too high, and I think Ortiz, telling home plate umpire Angel Hernandez, said it was high. That ball was high.
Varitek trying to calm him down, and Millar stands in after Pettitte picks up his 4th strikeout. Ball 1 to Millar. An RBI single last time up for Kevin Millar. Only his 2nd RBI of this postseason. After a high delivery, 1 ball, 1 strike. And again, Jorge Posada is out to talk to Andy Pettitte. That look by Joe Torre and Mel Stottlemyre was as if to say, well, Mel, you have any answers? Because Andy Pettitte is struggling to get through the 5th inning here today. But he leads by a run. Man at first. Garciaparra was there with nobody out. He's there with 2 out. Two and one.
Now, tempo and cadence is very important between a pitcher and a catcher. And the tempo and cadence of this game is slowed down to a crawl.
Up the middle. That's a base hit. Garciaparra will hold at second. It's 2 on, 2 out. Millar 2 out of 3, and Bill Miller, who has a wind-aided double and bounced into a double play, will be the hitter.
The good pitch from Andy Pettitte, better hitting from Kevin Millar off the end of the bat, but covering the outside part of the plate. Hits it off the end of the bat, but he is so strong to get it through the infield.
Bill Miller has not driven in a run this entire postseason. And he's up with a runner at second, the tying run, Garciaparra, a runner at first, the go-ahead run, Millar, and 2 out in the 5th. Strike 1. The Red Sox as a team, .226 average with runners in scoring position. They had a 4-run 3rd inning. They've already stranded 4. And they have 2 on with 2 out. A little high, 1 ball, 1 strike. The 1-1. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 out. Two and 2.
Curveball goes around the plate. 56,000 umpires here disagreed with the one that counted.
Halfway through game number 6 on a windy day in the Bronx. Frustration by Ortiz in the inning, and the Red Sox as a team, they trail in this game by 1. About 2 hours away from the start of game number 7 tonight at Wrigley Field with the Cubs and the Marlins, Kerry Wood and Mark Redmond. And here in game 6 with the Yankees up 3-2, Yankees bat bottom of the 5th inning up 5-4. Bernie Williams first up, Jorge Posada, Hideki Matsui. Those are the hitters as first pitch is a strike to Williams. Bronson Arroyo came on to close out the 4th. And he's 1-1 on Bernie Williams to start the 5th.
Red Sox have the right guy, Charles Bronson Arroyo, to put out the fire. Named after the late actor who passed away 3 months ago.
On the inside corner, 1-2. And I would think it's safe to say that neither side real confident as to what's a strike and what's not so far in this game.
Well, the one thing Angel Hernandez is doing, he's giving the high strike, as evidenced by that high strike called on David Ortiz.
Back inside, it's 2-2. Field. Back is Nixon. Williams didn't get it all, and Nixon puts it away, 1 out. Take a look at our WebMD health report for the Yankees and the Red Sox. Ramiro Mendoza, the former Yankee, out with a bad knee. Young-Hun Kim not active and on the ALCS roster, bothered by a sore right shoulder. And Karim Garcia, his hand is good enough to deliver a key 2-out 2-run hit in yesterday's game 5. And he reached on an important error by Garciaparra in the 4th inning to extend the frame for a 2-run double by Soriano, which has the Yankees on top 5-4. First pitch is a strike to Posada. Posada got the action started for the Yankees last inning with a base hit. That was against Burkett. Then Matsui fought off a pitch and flared a hit. Nick Johnson plugged the gap in right center field for an RBI double. And after Boone grounded out for an RBI, it was a 4-3 game. Garcia grounded to short. Garciaparra kicked it. And then the 2-out 2-run double by Soriano followed. As Contreras is getting loose, we may have seen the end of Andy Pettitte.
I think so.
After getting through 5. Three balls and a strike from Arroyo. First year with the Red Sox for Arroyo. Former Pittsburgh Pirate. Has to bring it into Jorge Posada. And that's in the air to left field. Carrying. Ramirez back at the wall. A home run. It's 6-4 New York. A Wrigley Field type day here at Yankee Stadium with the wind howling out to left. And Posada took advantage of it with an opposite field shot to make it 6-4 in the 5th.
As Kenny Albert said earlier, if either team gets under a ball and hits it fairly well down either line, it's gone.
Now Matsui takes the ball.
A fastball out over the plate. Posada, very, very strong. Got under it. Got it out of here.
Posada's second hit. Second run scoring of the day. Two and two on Matsui.
Guys, the wind's still swirling down here. In fact, about 2 innings ago, the grounds crew brought out some weighted bags, put it on the tarp down the right field line so that the tarp wouldn't go anywhere during play. Joe?
Matsui pops it up into shallow left center. 2 out. I think it's worth talking about that ball that Soriano hit that put the Yankees on top in the 4th inning with 2 out. From up here, that ball started out into dead straightaway center field and hooked into left center field. Damon didn't come anywhere close to it, and as it rolled to the wall, 2 runs scored to make it 5-4. It's now 6-4. 25-mile-per-hour winds at game time. Johnson has a key double in this game, takes a strike.
I think some of that has to do with the electrifying hands of Alfonso Soriano. Very, very strong hands. But some of it certainly may have had, the wind may have had something to do with it. See that kind of hooks in the left center field?
As that ball got to the wall, Garcia was able to get around and score all the way from first. Nick Johnson is on with a 2-out hit. Held there as Nixon gets to it to his right.
So Nick Johnson now 3 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a double.
Aaron Boone has an RBI in this game, but he's 0 for 2. Strike 1.
One of the reasons for the problems with this stadium is its horseshoe design. It's not as high as it is where the fans are sitting, bleachers in left and right field. Shea Stadium, a horseshoe design also, and the wind can cause fits on days like this in these types of stadiums.
The wind's blowing out. I don't know how that can be a bad thing.
Says a hitter.
Says a hitter.
Aaron Boone waiting for a 1-1 pitch. An opposite field home run by Posada here in the 5th. Boone way out in front, strike 2. Coming up tonight, game 7 of the NLCS. Redmond and Wood. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Kerry Wood, who won the decisive game 5 of the division series in Atlanta, against Mark Redmond, who came out of nowhere to have a terrific season this year for the Marlins. 1-2 pitch. 2-2 from Arroyo. Here are the numbers for the game 7 starters this postseason. A 2-0 record for Wood, 2.45 ERA, but a very good ERA in 2 starts for Redmond. Boone strikes out, and we go to the 6th inning. Red Sox will bat. Nixon, Veritek, Damon coming up. After this from Jorge Posada. It's now a 2-run Yankee lead. Jose Contreras comes out of the bullpen for the Yankees and takes over here in the 6th inning. So you wonder what effect that will have on the late innings for the Yankees trying to get to Mariano Rivera, or if this will be another 2-inning opportunity for Rivera. The Red Sox don't want any thought of any of that. They need to go to work against Contreras here in the 6th, now down by 2, and the first pitch outside for a ball. Contreras has shown a lot in this series. 3 games, 3 1/3 innings pitched, allowed only 2 hits. And As we said earlier, he had taken over the primary setup role, which used to belong to Nelson, from Mariano Rivera. There's a strike. Because Pettitte struggled through 5. Still in line for the victory if the Yankee bullpen hangs on. It's Contreras here in the 6th. That misses. 2-1.
The one thing he has over Jeff Nelson is that Contreras was a starter this year, and a successful starter with one of the most devastating split finger fastballs in the American League.
On 2-1. 3-1. As a starter, Contreras was 6-1 with a 2.34 ERA. As a reliever during the regular season, an ERA up near 7.5. A record of 1-1, but he has moved to the head of class out in that bullpen from the right side for Joe Torre before Rivera. 3-1. Nixon gets a good rip at it. Full count. Nixon 0 for 2. Pettitte will follow, and then Damon. Lefty switch hitter, lefty, then another lefty. Tells you what they think of the way Pettitte was getting along through the first 5 innings. They take the left-hander out in favor of Contreras. And strike 3 on the inside corner, 1 away.
Posada sets up inside, and the tailing fastball comes back. That pitch could have been inside, but Contreras got the call.
Now it's Pettitte who's homered and reached on an error. Good fastball, 95 miles per hour, strike 1.
All fastballs thus far, 7 in a row.
Strike 2. Another fastball. The Red Sox so far today, only 1 burst of offense in a 4-run, 4-hit 3rd inning. There's the first splitter, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
When you look at Contreras, his fingers are so long, you can understand how devastating that splitter can be. It goes away from left-handers, it goes down to left-handers. Late break, sharp break.
Another one, another strikeout, 2 out.
But that splitter didn't show exactly what Contreras can do. Away from the left-hander, down. That is a death grip on that splitter. Wicked pitch.
Now Johnny Damon takes a fastball for a strike. First year with the Yankees for Jose Contreras, classified as a rookie, but anything but with regard to big game action. Pitcher for the Cuban national team, used to the spotlight, and he is right in the center of it right now here at Yankee Stadium.
It's a good nickname down there.
Here's a 1-1. 2 balls and a strike.
Jose makes his home in Managua, Nicaragua. And the reason for that, obviously a defector, but had he become an American citizen, he would have been subject to the draft in the United States. That's why he lives in Managua.
That's wide to make it 3-1. Todd Walker, who has hit 5 postseason home runs on deck. Damon figures to get a fastball, and he takes it for strike 2. With 2 out and nobody on, that's ball 4 to bring the tying run to the plate. 2 strikeouts, now a walk, and Todd Walker is coming to the plate. Look at the numbers this series for Todd Walker. Came in the postseason hitting .406, 5 home runs, 6 RBIs. So far 1 for 3 tonight. That was against Pettitte, with a single and a run scored.
First 3 guys have taken the first strike. I think you got to change your thinking against this guy.
See if Walker's swinging. He is, and that's off his right foot for strike 1.
When a guy's got a split finger that's that good and that deceptive, I know as a hitter, I want to get that first fastball and get a good rip out. I don't want to get to the split. I don't want to get him in a position where he can bounce a couple and have some leeway. So I want to get I want to get that first one if it's out over the plate.
Went after it, fouled it, no balls, 1 strike. One and 1. Garcia-Parra's on deck. If he bats here in the 6th inning, he'll have another chance in front of him. But right now it's Contreras and Walker. Not much of a show with a pickoff attempt over at first base. Damon's running. Walker a swing and a miss, strike 2, but Damon steals second with 2 out.
Joe, your comment alerted us to Damon and that jump that he had, but this splitter, a good pitch on which to run. No throw by Posada. Damon with that walking lead at first base.
And look at the speed of that. Was 76. He's varying the speed of the split.
A 1-2. Walker able to check his swing, 2-2. So often you hear about new pitchers into the league. If they don't have a great throw over to first, you might as well not show it. Contreras with that little flip over to first, and on the very next pitch, Johnny Damon took off, and now a hit could make it a 1-run game. Todd Walker with a count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Another splitter, another strikeout as Contreras strikes out the side. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning of Game 6. Yankees on top 6-4. Number 9 hitter Kareem Garcia first up for New York. Bottom of the 6th inning, 6-4. The Yankees on top. 3-2 they're on top in this series. And Todd Jones, first appearance of this postseason for Jones, who was added for this ALCS. Started the season with Colorado, then came over to Boston. Garcia strike 1. Jones has been a closer in his career. He has saved as many as 42 in a season. He did that with Detroit back in 2000. Did it with Houston for a while, with Colorado, with Minnesota as well, and now Garcia up and after one. It's 0-2. Talk about relievers who always want a steady diet of work. Todd Jones is used to that in his big league career, and he has not pitched in a game since the regular season ended. Not even on the roster for the division series against Oakland. And he comes in and throws 3 pitches and picks up a strikeout of Kareem Garcia.
3 straight fastballs, and Garcia foul tips the 3rd one into the glove of Pettitte. Todd Jones gives the Yankees a different look. Brandon Arroyo was long and lean, arms and elbows. Todd Jones much more compact in his delivery.
Arroyo won an inning and a third, a run on 2 hits, allowed the Posada home run. That's up the middle for a base hit. Soriano's getting hot now. 2 out of 4 tonight. A key hit in yesterday's game 5 drove home the 3rd run of the day for the Yankees at Fenway. Today's in-game box score for the Yankees brought to you by AT&T. Soriano now 2 for 4 with that 2-run double back in the 4th inning to put the Yankees on top. Jeter a hit. Giambi homered in the 1st inning. Posada went deep. Nick Johnson with 3 hits. Boone an RBI ground out, and Garcia reached on an error by Garciaparra. Big play in this game, and scored a run. Here's Jeter.
Soriano has been very timid on the bases. He had 35 steals during the regular season and 43 tries. He has lightning speed, go along with lightning hands. And he's been a little reticent on the bases during this series.
Well, this could be the last hitter for Jones. Jeter with Giambi on deck and Embry getting loose in the bullpen for Boston. Only in the 6th. A pass ball by Pettitte, and down to second is Soriano.
Ball sailed on Pettitte, sitting inside. He had to cross the plate. That's where most pass balls come. Jason had 6 during the regular season. You're so locked in to keeping that target steady on the inside part of the plate, and now the ball sails on you. You have to cross the plate, and that ball went off the webbing of the glove.
A big run sitting out there for the Yankees. Runner at second, 1 out, and a 1-0 count on Jeter.
Soriano more dangerous at second than at first.
2-0 now on Jeter. Jeter came into this game a career postseason average of .313. So far 1 for 2 with a single and a walk. Good pitch on the outside corner, 2-1. Out of play. 2-2. Since divisional play in 1969, the Yankees, they're 10 times in the ALCS, losing only to Kansas City in 1980 coming into this series. In 696, they've been involved in 6 of them. They've lost a total of 9 games. Leading 3 games to 2 here, and in game 6 up 6-4. That's out of play. 2-2. Still the count on Jeter. They have not played a game 7 in the ALCS since '96. Red Sox trying to force that tomorrow night. A matchup of Pedro Martinez and Roger Clemens.
We talked about this before, but Kevin Millar, the first baseman, continues to play Jeter way off the line at first base. There's an awful lot of room between the first base bag and Millar. And Jeter loves to hit the ball down there.
Jam. And it's still 2-2. Jeter bothered by the debris that's blowing around home plate. Two balls, two strikes. Runner at second, one out. Yankees lead by 2. Full count. Embry is loose and ready for Giambi, who waits on deck. Two on with one out. Giambi coming up, and with Grady Little coming out, Alan Embry is coming in. It'll be up to Embry to try and keep it a 2-run game. After Burkett went the first 3 2/3, we've seen Arroyo, Jones, and now Embry. Embry gets loose, part of a very good Boston bullpen in this postseason. He'll deal with Giambi with 2 on and 1 out, and the Yankees up by 2. Here in game 6.
You know what they're talking about? What to do with Soriano at second base. Saw Soriano breaking toward third the last time he was on second. How to play the shift. What do you do with Bill Miller? Do you play in and toward the bag? Do you leave the vacant left side of the infield? Do you swing Garciaparra around on the right side of second base? We'll see how they play it.
Giambi is coming up. Let's check in again with Kenny Albert.
Well, Joe, Jason Giambi has had his personal hitting coach here this series. His dad, John Giambi, is allowed on the field before the games. He was right behind the batting cage during batting practice, chatting not only with Jason, but his other son, Jeremy, who's on the Red Sox disabled list, but is in uniform. Joe?
Kenny, thanks. And with his dad here, Jason Giambi hit a first-inning home run. So far, 1 out of 3, and he'll bat with 2 on, 1 out.
I would be surprised to see Soriano go anywhere right now, especially with the lefty up. Gives you a good throwing lane for the catcher. Nothing in his way.
The problem, though, is Miller is so far off the bag at third.
Well, he can beat him there, though.
Beat him there, catch it on the move, and get a tag down would be asking a lot.
It surely would.
2 on, 1 out. Soriano's running, and they give the Yankees second and third. With that defensive alignment, it was virtually impossible for Miller to get over and cover the bag, and they didn't even try.
Yeah, because Miller's got to wait for the ball to get through the hitting zone. Soriano doesn't care about that. Giambi took it knowing that they had such a great jump, and now you've got to bring the infield in.
To me, what the Red Sox are saying in that case is we care more about the shift and the positioning of our infield defense than we do giving the Yankees second and third. And a base hit right here would be devastating to the Red Sox chances of trying to come back in this game 6. The 1-1 to Giambi. 2 balls and a strike with Williams on deck.
The key to that, as you pointed out, Joe, was Bill Miller being that far off from third base. Doesn't matter about your middle infielders, Garciaparra or Walker. You're going to hold them on anyway, or not hold them on. But it was the foot race for Bill Miller, and he didn't even try.
The 2-1. Good pitch, 2-2.
Well, I think the difference is in giving him third base is now it doesn't take a base hit to score a run. You know, sacrifice fly here, anything. So that completely changes your strategy as a hitter. You know you don't have to get a hit to get another point.
Also, I think you send Soriano on a ground ball to the infield. You run on contact. You have a 2-run lead, the middle innings.
With 2 outs, you can understand it. With 1 out, giving the Yankees second and third is hard to justify. It's still 2-2.
Well, also in that situation, you go on contact. If Soriano feels like he's dead out at home, he can get in a rundown, and Jason can keep going to second. You end up with the same second and third with 2 outs.
Soriano, the lead runner at third. Jeter on at second. 1 out. Yankees leading 6-4 here in the 6th. Two out. A big strikeout for Embry and the Red Sox. And Bernie Williams will walk to the plate.
High fastball gets Jason Giambi. Soriano came down the line about a third of the way then with the left-handed Embry working from the stretch. And I got the feeling that he almost could have come home and Embry never would have seen it.
I felt the same way. Embry coming set for quite a while, and Soriano was not halfway, but close to halfway at one point. Hard hit, Miller, what a play. Has to make the throw and does. What a play by Bill Miller on a smash to third hit by Bernie Williams. The Red Sox hang in it. They trail by 2. Back after this from your local Fox station. 6-4 New York on top. We move to the 7th inning. Sprint virtual manager question was, should Pedro Martinez have started today for the Red Sox? 57% of you voted for positive. And that's a fly ball into left center field. Carrying. Williams back on the run. It's over his head and off the wall. And nearly out of the park. Garciaparra will turn, go to third. The throw is terrible. Into the seats. And to the plate goes Garciaparra. It's a 1-run game. The Wind played with that ball off the bat and may have played with it on the relay throw in toward third.
That throw looked like game 1 of the American League Division Series with Soriano. Airmailed one into the stands, but there is no question that the Wind aided and abetted that fly ball. Matsui picks it up and throws it, a one-hopper into the stands.
It's a triple. E7. And now it's 6-5 here in the 7th inning. As Ramirez hits one to deep center field, got a chance to go at the wall. It's off the base of the wall. Ramirez will cruise into second with a double. He's the tying run with nobody out. Manny Ramirez has singled, doubled, and homered here tonight.
1982, the Milwaukee Brewers were called Harvey's Wall Bangers. And the Red Sox have banged the wall a couple of times on 2 pitches here in the 7th inning.
So the Yankees missing a golden opportunity in the bottom of the 6th inning to tack on and add to their lead. And here are the Red Sox. They were down 2-0 in the division series to Oakland. They came back and won 3 straight. They're trailing 3-2 in this ALCS. Down by 2 here in the 7th inning, now down by 1. And with a runner at second, Ramirez, here comes David Ortiz.
And perish the thought of trying to move the runner along. He is trying to drive him in. Anybody that big, that strong, who drove in 101 during the regular season, is not trying to move him to third.
That gets away, and it does the job for the Red Sox. A split-fingered pitch in the dirt, and the tying run is 90 feet away.
Split-finger fastball from Contreras, much like the knuckleball from Tim Wakefield. The better it is, the tougher it is to handle. It topples up to home, and Posada does not go after that ball properly. When you turn your hand, you expose the heel of the glove, and that's where the ball hit, off the heel of the glove.
Now before a stunned and quiet crowd here at Yankee Stadium, the infield comes in. And a strike is in from Contreras, 1-1.
Another splitter. As unpredictable as the knuckleball.
Tying run at third, nobody out. Ortiz shatters his bat, and goodness, into the seats. That dangerous shattered piece of lumber. And hopefully everybody is okay down there, and it appears they are. Manny's reaction over at third, he didn't know where to go. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Ortiz.
Well, again, Contreras with the strikeout has the inside fastball or the splitter.
Two and two.
The problem is in this situation, why it's such an advantage for Boston in this situation is he just threw one that went to the backstop. That's his pitch, the split finger. Now he's going to be very, very leery of bouncing that split in this position.
Well, the last split finger pitch he threw stayed up. Ortiz took it.
That's going when you're going to hit.
2-2 pitch. High again. It's 3-2.
Another splitter that stayed up.
A triple, an error, a run. A double, a wild pitch, and the tying run is at third with nobody out here in the 7th. To first, off the bat, the Red Sox have tied it. Ortiz is on with an RBI base hit. Nobody's even warming up for the Yankees in their bullpen, as Contreras has given up a triple, a double, a single, some of the breaks. But he wants to talk about the curse with the wind and that ball hitting the bag starting to fall in the Red Sox favor.
We have seen 2 balls hit bags, 1 at third and 1 now at first in the last 3 games. Jeter hit 1 in Boston 1 more time off the first base bag. Like plopping down on your pillow in the den at home.
Kevin Millar now with a runner at first, nobody out. Go-ahead run is on for Boston, and Millar, seeing the way the ball's carrying out to left field, is trying to crank. Strike one. Now there's action for the Yankees out in their bullpen. Felix Heredia, the left-hander, getting loose. Alan Embry with a big job for Boston in the bottom of the 6th, getting Giambi and Williams with runners at second and third. That gets away, but not far enough for Ortiz, who doesn't run well at all, to advance to second. 7 o'clock straight up. This is game 6 of this ALCS. The Yankees came in after winning 2 of 3 at Fenway Park, up 3 games to 2. Yankees got the first run on a home run by Giambi. The Red Sox got 4 in the 3rd. The Yankees came back with 4 in the bottom of the 4th. 2 of the runs unearned. A home run by Posada in the 5th. It was 6-4 until now. 2 runs in the 7th, still nobody out. The 1-1 to Millar. He went, strike 2.
Could not hold up. Yankees did not get a break when Nick Johnson's double bounced over the fence. And the Red Sox didn't get a break when Ortiz's ball hit the bag. Otherwise, it could have been a double.
That's foul. On deck is Miller, the switch hitting third baseman. Contreras gives up his first runs of this ALCS. Two and two. Posada's having a difficult time behind the plate catching Contreras.
He really is. One wild pitch. Even with that pitch, it stayed up, kind of floated outside. Another one dropped by Posada. So now what do you do with Ortiz at first base? He has no speed, no attempted steals this year. Of course, the speed of the runner at first, you don't even think about that. It's up to the hitter to put it in play. But to strike him out, throw him out 3 times for the Red Sox in this series. I don't think he's running.
I would be surprised. They've been burned with that 3 times in this series, and with Ortiz, if Millar doesn't make contact, be a double play. Not running, and Millar hits it in the air to right. Long run. Garcia gets there and makes the play. 1 out.
I don't know about you guys, but in my mind, I was thinking about Moises Alou in Chicago last night. That ball so close to the stands. Certainly entered my mind.
And for Garcia, really a good play.
Absolutely.
He went a long way to get that for the first out. And now Bill Miller stands in with the go-ahead run at first and 1 out. Ball for a strike. Trot Nixon, the left-handed hitting right fielder, is on deck. So this may or may not be it for Contreras, the right-hander, with Heredia, the left-hander, loose in the Yankee bullpen. Miller checked his swing. And Angel Hernandez isn't even going to appeal down to third. It's 1-1. Posada is even asking him more to appeal down to third. Finally, Hernandez did, as we look at another shot of it. The third base umpire, Alfonso Marquez, said he didn't swing. It's 1-1. Two balls and a strike. Garciaparra with a 3-hit night. Manny Ramirez has been on base twice and scored 2 runs. Ortiz has driven in 3. And this game is 6-6 in the 7th. Low. It's 3-1.
Situation right here where Bill Miller will be looking for a fastball on the inside part of the plate, something to drive. Short porch to right field, only 314 down the line.
Has not gone deep in the postseason. Up the middle. That's a base hit. Ortiz will go station to station, hold at second, and it's 2 on with 1 out. 4th hit of the inning for Boston. And with Nixon coming up, we'll see if Joe Torre is going to go to Heredia. First 5 games, teams combining for 6.6 runs per game and 14.4 hits per game. Heredia is coming in, as we've seen 12 runs scored here in Game 6. Each side has 6. The Red Sox threatening for more, and Joe Torre will go back to the Yankee bullpen. A big difference for the New York Yankees in 2003 compared to years past and their postseason runs. And we've talked about this at Mike Stanton. Stanton not around. So the Yankees picked up Heredia late, got him off waivers. They got Gabe White in the same deal where they picked up Aaron Boone from Cincinnati. And the left-hander they had in their bullpen all season, Chris Hammond, isn't even active for this ALCS. So from the left side, against a team that has a lot of left-handed thunder in the Boston Red Sox offense, Joe Torre has seen enough from Felix Heredia to trust him. I don't know if he has any options here, but he trusts him enough to call his number in a tie game in the 7th inning, Game 6. Coming up right after this game, Game 7 of the National League Championship Series. Kerry Wood, Mark Redmond. The winning team heads to the World Series. Will it be the Marlins for the first time since 1997, or the Cubs for the first time since 1945? 2 on, 1 out. Trot Nixon against Heredia. Strike 1. The one thing Joe Torre worries about with Heredia, as opposed to Gabe White, his other left-hander, is control and the ability to throw strikes. First pitch, a swinging strike.
One thing Heredia can do better than Gabe White is get a ground ball, and that's what the Yankees need here.
Nixon and the Red Sox need a hit, and it's 1-1. Yankee Stadium eerily quiet here in the 7th inning. 2 on, 1 out, 1 ball, 1 strike. Stabbed at by Posada, ball 2. Manny Ramirez a big part of this inning. He scored the tying run on the RBI hit by David Ortiz. Now remember, Ortiz is the lead runner at second base, and he does not have much speed. Two and two on Nixon. On deck is the switch hitter Pettitte. Close, and the runners advance to second and third. What an inning for Pettitte behind the plate. Had a tough time with Contreras, and this time on a pitch from Heredia, can't get down and block it.
What gives Heredia the ability to get the ground ball also makes him tough to catch. He keeps the ball down so well, this time too far down, and Red Sox runners move up. And Joe Torre brings his infield in.
So the infield is in, second and third, 1 out, and a 3-ball, 2-strike count on Trot Nixon. Got him on the inside corner, 2 out.
The inside fastball freezes Nixon. Of all the things that hitters hate more than anything is to take a third strike with a runner on third and less than 2 outs.
Well, now you got first base open. You got Pettitte at the plate, and the Yankees are going to walk Pettitte. But then that forces Heredia into a spot with Damon, who's very patient at the plate, to throw strikes.
I was thinking the same thing, Joe, with Pettitte. You could toy with him, but if you toy with him, in the process of doing that, you may throw a wild pitch. So Joe Torre is thinking, I think correctly, that why pitch around him in this spot? Because pitching around him may create the run. On the other hand, when you put him on, now there's no place to put him, and you have to pitch to Damon with a good eye, who often takes the first strike. And he has speed to beat out an infield hit.
And here comes Mel Stottlemyre to talk about this approach, what they will take with Damon coming to the plate, bases loaded, 2 out. Remember, Johnny Damon started this ALCS on the bench, injured in Game 5 with that collision with Damian Jackson. His first game back was Saturday. He came up with 3 hits in that game. Since then, he has been held hitless. And Gabe White, the other left-hander for the Yankees in their bullpen, is going to get loose. Bases loaded, 2 out. Ball 1. And we'll see if Damon is up there to take a strike.
Perhaps.
Ball 2.
You're taking 1-0. You've got to be taking 2-0.
Ball 3. And now Heredia is in a spot where he has to get the pitch over 3 consecutive times or force home the go-ahead run, as Jeff Nelson joins Gabe White in the Yankee bullpen. Heredia walks home the go-ahead run. Pettitte screaming at Angel Hernandez, the home plate umpire, and the Red Sox have regained the lead at 7-6 in the 7th.
Pettitte setting up at the middle of the plate. He wanted the fastball, but he had too far to go to get a pitch like that. That ball is inside, and if you create the mess, you're not going to get the pitch. 2 wild pitches in this inning, and the Red Sox retake the lead.
Bases still loaded. Todd Walker at the plate. There's a strike. Miller, Varitek, and Damon the runners on. A 3-run 7th inning and a chance for more for Boston. Backing out of play, strike 2. Walker 1 hit, 4 trips.
A lot of pressure on Pettitte also. 2 wild pitches in this inning, and it's got to be going through his mind somewhat right now.
Pretty good rip by Walker with 2 strikes.
It's what follows wild pitches that are bad. An 0-2 breaking ball right down the heart of the plate. You're afraid to waste one.
The inning is over, but it's a big inning for the Boston Red Sox, facing elimination here tonight. Top of the 7th inning, Boston sends 9 men to the plate. Garciaparra started it with a triple, scored on the throwing error by Matsui. Then it was Ramirez banging one off the center field wall for a double. Went to third, scored on the hit by Ortiz off the bag. Go-ahead run forced home on a bases-loaded walk. And as we stretch here at Yankee Stadium, 7-6 Boston.
White with foam, God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Ronan Tynan, the Irish tenor, with God Bless America here during the 7th inning stretch at Yankee Stadium. The League Championship Series on Fox is brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. A look inside the Yankee dugout, and we compare the history of these two franchises. Since 1920, that was the year that Babe Ruth went from Boston to the Yankees. 4 American League pennants for Boston compared to 38 for New York, and the 26 World Series titles compared to none for Boston. None since 1918. Trying to get past the Yankees in this ALCS to take on the winner of the Marlins and Cubs. That game coming up right after this one here on Fox. January 3rd, 1920, the Yankees purchased the contract of Babe Ruth, Boston Red Sox, for $125,000 and a $350,000 loan against the mortgage on Fenway Park. Babe Ruth went from a left-handed pitcher for the Boston Red Sox to one of the greatest power hitters of all time, and some would say still the greatest, as you look at Don Mattingly in the crowd throughout the ceremonial first pitch. here this evening. And we look back at the career of Babe Ruth, who, by the way, won 2 games as a pitcher in that 1918 World Series, a victory over the Cubs. The Sultan of SWAT. And now it's Alan Embry, who finished off that bottom of the 6th inning, working the bottom of the 7th. Jorge Posada at the plate. It'll be Posada, Matsui, and Johnson.
Can't help but think that another fly ball, an adventurous fly ball, is going to take place before this game's over.
Posada homered his last time. This time goes after the first pitch. 2 hops to Todd Walker at second, 1 out. So Posada's retired, and here is Hideki Matsui. Matsui, the throwing error, which allowed Garciaparra to score after tripling off the wall. You start talking about stats and they can wear you out, but statistically speaking, this Boston Red Sox bullpen has been sensational in this postseason. It was such a problem for Grady Little and the Red Sox, and a frustration for their fans all season. And look what that group has done in October. A 1.03 ERA. Embry and Timlin have not been scored upon, and it's Timlin getting loose. Matsui went, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, the bullpen by committee was late in arriving. Matsui goes too far, but Red Sox elected not to sign Ugi Urbina, who is now pitching for the Florida Marlins.
Here's an 0-2 to Matsui. That's right where Veritek was calling for it. 96 miles an hour, ball 1.
Urbina had saved 40 games last year for the Sox, and they elected to start the season bullpen by committee. It was poor the first half of the season, but has come together here in the playoffs.
Setting up inside. Matsui is jammed, and a little flare. Garciaparra and Miller, neither one can get there. Garciaparra corrals it and gets it back into second. It's a 1-out single.
There's some spots on the field where nobody plays.
And Matsui just found one of them. 2 flare hits in this game for Matsui. And now it's Nick Johnson. Aaron Boone is on deck. You'd have to believe that Timlin is getting ready for the next hitter. We're in the 7th. Boston up by a run. 1 on, 1 out for the Yankees. Nick Johnson steps into one and fouls it back. A breakout game for Nick Johnson. Went the other way his first time. Doubled into right center field off Burkett for an RBI. Later scored and singled his last time off Arroyo. Nothing in 2.
Something you don't often see, a low fastball where a hitter swings through it. Those pitches are designed to put in play. The high heater, you'll see that swung through often, but not that pitch.
Yankees come up with 4 hits in a postseason game. Number of times, 17. Johnson trying to tie it. He checks his swing. They appeal. No swing, says Marquez.
Marquez couldn't see the appeal. He was looking around. I think Pettitte was standing in the way of home plate umpire Angel Hernandez, and Marquez was looking to his left, looking to his right, and finally gave the appeal sign.
Hambry with a count 1-2. Misses. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Game 7 coming up in the NLCS right after this game. Two-2 pitch to Nick Johnson. Looked like Hambry took something off that pitch, and it's fouled out of play.
Well, sometimes that'll happen when a pitcher grips that slider too much. They don't do it intentionally, but they'll grip it tighter, and the pitch will be slower.
A 2-2. Garciaparra will step, throw, double play, and this game goes to the 8th. The big bats are coming up for the Red Sox. Garciaparra, Ramirez, and Ortiz. 8th inning, 7-6. Andy Pettitte could only go 5 innings in this Game 6 start. That threw the entire bullpen plan out of whack. Contreras had to come in the 6th. He went an inning and a third. Heredia walked home the go-ahead run. It's on the record of Contreras. And now it's Nelson and a ground ball to third. Tough play. Boone can't handle it. And Garciaparra is on. That could be his 4th hit of the night.
Aaron Boone had the ball and the bag to worry about. Right over the bag. Don't really know whether it's going to hit the bag, scoot past you. Came up in the heel of the glove, bobbled, probably a hit.
It is a base hit. 4 on the night for Nomar Garciaparra.
I don't think he had a play anyway. Even if he comes up clean with it, makes a perfect throw. I think Nomar got out of the box pretty good. I thought he beat it.
Manny Ramirez steps in. Ramirez is 1 for 3 with a walk, a double, and 2 runs scored. Trying to give the Red Sox a little breathing room, and Jeff Nelson is a guy. But I think it would be fair to say Joe Torre doesn't have a ton of confidence in this right-hander, as Contreras had moved in front of him as the primary setup man for Mariano Rivera. Started this season with Seattle.
Joe, when you read a comment 2 days before the end of the season by Joe Torre saying we've got to get Nelson straightened out for the playoffs, you know there's a problem. And the problem is wildness.
Picked him up the first week of August. Sent Armando Benitez up to Seattle. That's on the outside corner, a ball and a strike. David Ortiz on deck. To the right side for Soriano. Tough play. Out at second. Out at first. Double play. 4-6-3. And nicely turned by Soriano and Jeter.
Yeah, there was a momentary bobble by Soriano, but he gave Jeter a good feed. Outside part of the bag. Momentary right there. A little slip. But the throw to Jeter. The outside, Jeter avoids the base runner. And they turn it. Nicely done.
The crowd behind the Red Sox dugout giving it to Manny Ramirez as he goes back to take his seat. First pitch, a swinging strike and a ball in the dirt. David Ortiz at the plate with the bases empty. He thought he checked his swing. Angel Hernandez, the home plate umpire, called a swinging strike.
Looks like he did check his swing.
One ball, one strike. We're getting to the point where we can say almost literally, immediately after our game is finished, the Marlins at the Cubs, Game 7 will be next here on Fox. Ortiz on 1-1. Now in the hole 1-2 as that was fouled off his foot.
I think when you talk about Jeff and he's had some ups and downs this year, a lot of times getting back on the mound and having a good inning, that gives you a lot of it does a lot for the mind. You know, it's as a hitter, when you're scuffling, you're not getting the hits, you're not having good at bats. I'll tell you what, a couple base hits in a game do a lot for the psyche, and that's what Jeff needs to do, come out and have some success and get that confidence back, because we all go up and down with that.
Nelson appeared in Game 4, picked up 2 outs with 1 pitch and a double play ground out after he was checked by the umpiring crew on advisement from Grady Little, the Red Sox manager. They made Nelson undo his belt buckle, checked him for a foreign substance. Just outside, 2-2. Jeter was ready to head to the dugout. Same pitch, same result. A ball, it's 3-2. Two out, nobody on. Ortiz, a foul tip hung on to by Posada. Striking out to end the top of the 8th. Bottom 2 in the order coming up for the Yankees as they trail in Game 6 by 1. Let's go back to that strikeout. You could argue that David Ortiz maybe swung at the pitch, but as you watch Angel Hernandez, the home plate umpire, he called foul tip right there, and you could see that the bat of Ortiz missed that ball by 1.5 feet.
Yeah, Jeff Nelson may have struck him out, but not that way.
Aaron Boone now against Mike Timlin. Boone, the number 8 batter. Strike 1. It'll be Boone, then Garcia, then Soriano. The big bats will step to the plate again for the Yankees. They trail by 1 here in the bottom of the 8th. Red Sox trying to stave off elimination, force a Game 7 tomorrow night. They're 6 outs away. Another late swing on a ball down and away, 0-2.
Fastball out of the strike zone, and Aaron Boone has been going after that pitch throughout the postseason.
0 for 3 with an RBI ground out in this game as Tim Wakefield gets loose in the bullpen for Boston. Ball 1.
That's an interesting sight. You bring him in during the inning with runners on base, with a stolen base a possibility, or is he warming for the 9th? It's too early to be warming for the 9th.
Boone stays alive. We talked about the wind, 25 miles per hour at the start of this night. Temperature in the 50s. Humidity is down. Those are all factors when you're flipping a knuckleball to the plate. Here comes a 1-2 pitch to Boone. Almost looked like he tried to walk into it, take one for the team, and it missed him. 2-2.
That ball tailing inside to Aaron Boone. Just holding up. If you could only think that quickly.
Timlin with a count 2-2. Picks up out number 1.
The splitter gets Aaron Boone. Boy, that's a nasty pitch right there. Woo.
With 1 out, here's Kareem Garcia.
You get the feeling the next inning and a half is going to take about the time that the last 4 minutes in a basketball game, like pro basketball game. Feel like standing on your feet and say, foul him.
Well, you have a feeling that we're going to see something out of the ordinary before the end of this game. The kind of conditions, we've seen that a couple of different times tonight. As Garcia with a big swing and a foul tip, strike 1.
I can't tell whether that's a split or a sinker. It's going straight down, but it's hard. It's hard.
He has both.
He's got the split, but I think the split he throws a lot softer than that, from what I remember. But that pitch is going straight down. Seems like he throws a split at low 80s.
Everything he's sent to the plate so far in this 8th inning has been above 90 miles an hour. Garcia hitless this afternoon and evening, 0 for 3. Reached on an error and scored back in the 4th. Into left center field. That ball is going to drop for a hit. Garcia's on. Tying run aboard here in the 8th.
Red Sox in their prevent defense, and you really can't blame them with the wind blowing out as it is. After witnessing Garciaparra's triple and Ramirez's double, Ramirez way back in left field. No chance to get this one, but that's certainly understandable. And no doubles defense.
Even to the off field with a left-handed batter up, as we saw Posada hit one out the opposite way back in the 5th. Now it's Soriano with Jeter on deck. Tying run at first, 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. Dave Wallace, the pitching coach for the Red Sox, on the phone. Soriano 2 out of 4 tonight. Way too early with that swing. Strike 1. Now Scott Williamson, who has filled the closer role, starts to get loose for Boston.
I think that shot at Tim Wakefield just to see how he felt in case the game goes into extra innings.
The 0-1. Mike Timlin, a guy who has 2 World Series rings, coming in the early 90s with the Toronto Blue Jays. Before the game, he said, "I'm just having fun." Mariano Rivera, in case the Yankees take the lead here in the bottom of the 8th inning, has got to start getting ready. Timlin trying to prevent that. One and 2.
Soriano out in front of the first fastball and behind the second one.
Shattered back. Garciaparra. The out at second, 2 away. Brett, it looks like they've got some sand or some sort of topping on this infield dirt, as we've seen one infielder slide after another after trying to plant, and it happened to Garciaparra on this ball hit by Soriano.
Well, I don't know how much, depending on how much rain they've had. I don't know if did it rain here when we were in Boston?
It rained here last night rather hard.
Yeah.
And the footing on that infield has been a little treacherous.
Probably put a lot of dirt. It's probably muddy, and there's a top layer, and you'll lose your footing in there.
Put that coating of turfus on that infield. It soaks up the water.
And that might explain some of the funky hops we've seen out there tonight, too.
Perhaps. See if Soriano's running here.
This would be a spot to try it. He's the tying run at first, 2 out, and Jeter is at the plate. There he goes. Petitte's throw. Too late. Tying run in scoring position with 2 out in the 8th.
Good throw by Pettitte. He had a good pitch to handle, but too good a jump for Soriano. Throw just a little high, tagged on the seat. Notice how Todd Walker put that left leg in there. If you go in spikes first, nobody's going to put their left leg in front of the bag.
Jeter could tie it with a hit. The wind whistling out to left field. That's strike 2. And Timlin has just come out of the bullpen throwing hard and throwing strikes. You think about these outfielders for the Red Sox, the best arm is in right field. Trot Nixon has the best throwing arm of the 3 out in the outfield for the Red Sox.
Meanwhile, the infielders are playing deeper than normal, a step to knock something down. You can't get to it and make a play, at least keep it on the infield.
Tying run at second, 2 out. Jeter at the plate. Miller, tough bounce, throws for the out. Bill Miller stayed with it. Another tricky hop, and Miller able to grab it and get the out at first. We go to the 9th inning of Game 6. After this play, even a slip by Miller, he still made the play, and the Red Sox lead by 1. Jeff Nelson pitched a scoreless 8th, and now it's Millar, Miller, and Nixon for Boston here in the 9th inning, up 7-6. Trying to force Game 7 tomorrow night. Grady Little sending John Burkett out to the mound tonight for the start. Burkett lasted into the 4th inning. Defense let him down at 1 point. The bullpen has been good again for Grady Little. And if the Red Sox win tonight, it forces not only Game 7 tomorrow night, but a rematch of Roger Clemens and Pedro Martinez. And you can only imagine what the response will be for Pedro Martinez when he steps foot onto the field after what happened Saturday at Fenway Park. Here's the 0-2. Millar hits it foul. But there's nobody with the Red Sox or anybody in their fan base that's counting this as a victory. 3 more outs for them to pick up defensively, and Williamson is getting ready to try to be the guy to do it. The Yankees in the bottom of the 9th will have Giambi, Williams, and Posada. Ball 1. Millar with 2 hits. Gabe White again gets up and starts to get loose. Trot Nixon due up third in the inning. 2-2. Brady Little telling us before the game, if this is going to be a shootout, we will gladly enter into a shootout with the New York Yankees in this game. I don't know if this qualifies, as Millar is frustrated, flips his bat right at home plate, and he strikes out. But with the most offensive production we've seen in this series, the Red Sox have a 1-run 9th inning lead.
25 hits in this game, 13 by the Red Sox, 12 by the Yankees. Good slider from Nelson to get Millar.
Miller fouls one out of play. By far the most hits we've seen in any one of these ALCS games. And Bill Miller, the American League batting champ, 2 out of 4 with a double and a single. Waits for an 0-1 pitch.
Tell you right now, it's not this quiet in Boston.
If it is, it only is because of nerves, wondering if the Red Sox can hang on. And we ask you to hang on, because coming up next, Game 7 of the NLCS. Marlins at Cubs, Wrigley Field, winner going to the World Series. Ball one from Nelson. Timlin, another scoreless inning under his belt. 2-2 on Miller. Into left center field. That ball trying to plug the gap. It will, and go to the wall. Bill Miller will scoot into second with a double with 1 out. And we'll see if that's the last pitch of the night by Jeff Nelson. Gabe White, the left-hander, ready. A lefty Nixon coming up.
Fastball out over the plate. Fine hitting by Bill Miller, and here comes Joe Torre.
So that'll be it for Nelson. He goes an inning and a third. White, with Nixon coming up, is coming in. An in-season pickup by the Yankees from the Cincinnati Reds. We'll take a break. When we come back, Gabe White against Trot Nixon. Runner at second, 1 out. 9th inning, and the Red Sox up by 1.
I'm Jeannie Zelasco, back at the Fox Network Center with this game break. His name is Steve Bartman, and I say his name because the fan who stole the spotlight at Wrigley Field last night has spoken, releasing this statement. I had my eyes glued on the approaching ball the entire time and was so caught up in the moment that I did not even see Moises Alou, much less that he may have had a play. Had I thought for 1 second that the ball was playable, or had I seen Alou approaching, I would have done whatever I could to get out of the way and give Alou a chance to make the catch. He added, quote, truly sorry from the bottom of this Cub fan's broken heart.
Jeannie, thanks. And that's something we talked about early, and Kevin Kennedy talked about in our pregame show. With his eyes up in the sky watching that ball drift back toward the field of play, he wasn't aware that that ball was even playable by Moises Alou, or that Moises Alou was even there. And so you can certainly feel for that 26-year-old, as Game 7 is coming up here in moments. Right now, it's Gabe White into the action with Trot Nixon at the plate. Miller at second, 1 out. And a strike from White. When the Yankees picked up Gabe White, he was on the disabled list and unusable with a pulled groin muscle. But he was making progress. He came back and pitched well down the stretch for Joe Torre. Nixon grounds to first. It's a foul ball. Strike 2.
Trott has had a tough night. He is grounded to first, and he has struck out against 3 different pitchers. The hat trick in a strange way. Struck out once against Pettitte, Contreras, and Heredia.
Nixon trying to add to the Boston 1-run 9th inning lead. Set up at 0-2. Just outside, ball 1. Again, the Yankees in the bottom of this 9th inning will have Giambi, Bernie Williams, and Jorge Posada. If anybody gets on, Hideki Matsui. Nixon hammers one to deep right. If it's fair, it's gone. This ball is in the upper deck, a 2-run home run. It's 9-6 Boston here in the 9th. And so much for Trot Nixon's tough night. He delivers at a crucial time here in the 9th inning to give the Red Sox a 3-run cushion. The Red Sox, by getting Pettitte out of the game after 5, exposed what is an underbelly of sorts for this Yankees team, their middle relief. They've liked Contreras. Contreras did not have his best stuff after 1 solid inning. Heredia walked home the go-ahead run in the 7th. And now after Nelson gives up a double to Miller, Trot Nixon takes the lefty White into the upper deck. And it's 9-6 in the 9th. Pettitte, a good rip. It's 1-1.
That's what happens to hanging sliders.
And now if the Red Sox and the Yankees can afford themselves a look ahead to tomorrow night, they and we are anticipating some kind of matchup in Game 7, and that would be Pedro Martinez against Roger Clemens if necessary. That means if the Red Sox win tonight. Pettitte strikes out, 2 gone.
Trot Nixon, before that at bat, had not only not gotten the ball out of the infield, a ground ball back to the pitcher, 3 strikeouts, and made up for it with 1 swing of the bat, where hanging sliders go to die way back.
So you know the first pitch of Game 7 of the NLCS is scheduled for 8:18 Eastern. We're getting awfully close to 8:18 Eastern. It's 8:05. If this game runs over, the start time of Game 7 of the NLCS, you can catch the beginning of it on FX. Two 2-0 the count on Johnny Damon. Now 2-1. Damon has walked 3 times. The most important walk he picked up was with the bases loaded 2 out against Heredia to force home the go-ahead run in the 7th. Now the Red Sox have tacked on a couple more. That's a fair ball and a double. Damon will walk down to second base with a 2-out double, and Gabe White has faced 2 left-handed batters and allowed an upper deck home run and an opposite field double.
4th time tonight that Johnny Damon has been on base. That ball hopping in the stands in left field. A A double and 3 walks right on the chalk.
Now it's Todd Walker. Another left-handed batter and a strike. From Pettitte to Contreras to Heredia to Nelson, now White. Only Weaver and Rivera left for the Yankees in their bullpen. It's 0-2 on Walker. To Walker. Ball 1. The Boston Red Sox, down 2-0 to the Oakland A's in the division series, came back with 3 in a row. Doing it in dramatic fashion. All 3 wins. The Trot Nixon home run in extra innings, coming back in the 8th inning in Game 4, and then hanging on in Game 5. White fires to first, and the inning is over. But not before Gabe White comes in and gives up a 2-run upper deck home run to Trot Nixon. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning here at Yankee Stadium. Part of the order coming up. Red Sox lead by 3.
I'm Jeannie Zelasco back at the Fox Network Center. The Yankees and Red Sox are still battling it out in the Bronx, but there is a sense of urgency in the Windy City with a World Series berth on the line. And as Joe Buck just told you, if this game does not finish before first pitch in Chicago, you can find the Cubs and Marlins Game 7 on FX. You'll not miss the first pitch.
Jeannie, thank you, and welcome back to Yankee Stadium. Up here in the booth, you know, guys, I was thinking about it before we headed out here today. You think about a long season, 162 games. You think about a postseason where we've seen each team, no matter who it is, squeeze about every drop they can out of their opportunities. And Grady Little talked about being patient with his group. He didn't shuffle his batting lineup. He kept Garciaparra in the 3 spot. And he said all we can hope for is that time won't run out for this offense. Been averaging 3.2 runs per game coming in, and guys, tonight they exploded.
He didn't shuffle his starting pitcher tonight either, John Burkett, even though he only got, what, 3 1/3 innings out of him. More importantly, if they can win this game, they have Pedro for tomorrow night, and the Yankees counter with Roger Clemens. What a matchup. My goodness.
It's about as good as it gets. I think Boston once again showed their resilience. I mean, they down early at Yankee Stadium, facing elimination, they come roaring back. So I agree with Grady. I mean, we talked about it, and you don't change what you've been doing all year. Nomar's a 3-hole hitter. You stick with him, and he came through tonight for him big time.
And I thought it was important, Brett, what you talked about in the open, and that was the attitude with this team didn't change. And they came out to the field today after blaring music last night at Fenway after a tough loss. And they came out as they used Damian Jackson at second base for defensive reasons, with Williamson taking over. And you said it, they acted like they were up 3-2, and that loose attitude has translated to 9 runs on 16 hits.
And it started when we played against them a couple months ago. There's something about them when you look across the field. You know, there's certain teams that have that just great camaraderie, and they've got it.
And what a change, and a lot of that is the responsibility of Grady Little and the job he's done with his contract status up in the air for next year.
He's done a great job. I mean, he looked pretty relaxed today in the meeting too.
First pitch is strike to Giambi. Heart of the order, Giambi, Bernie Williams, and Posada. Williamson trying to come up with his 3rd save, not only of this postseason, but 3rd save ever with the Boston Red Sox. He took over as the closer after the struggles and the failure of Byung-Hun Kim in that position early in the division series. Kim not even active for this ALCS. Here's an 0-2 to Giambi. Ball 1. If this series breathes on, Game 7 tomorrow night, Pedro Martinez coming off that start. The on-field incidents in Game 3 on Saturday at Fenway against Roger Clemens, who was composed, kept himself together, and got the victory. The 1-2 pitch. 2-2.
The Yankees, meanwhile, do not want it to go to Game 7, trying to get a couple of base runners so one of their hitters can pop one against Williamson. Ruben Sierra did it in Game 4. The only run given up by Williamson as the Red Sox won 3-2.
The 2-2 to Giambi, leading off in the 9th. Not close, full count. So far tonight, the Red Sox bullpen has been better than the Yankee bullpen.
One of those situations where you cannot walk Jason Giambi. If you have to run it up and set it on a tee, do it.
Blown by him, 1 out. 95 miles per hour from Williamson. And it's worth only a mention that while the count ran full on Giambi, who got up in the Boston bullpen? Tim Wakefield, the knuckleballer. 5 minutes from now, Game 7 will begin at Wrigley Field. If this game is still being played, you can catch the first pitches on FX. Out of the hand of Kerry Wood. Into the hitter, Juan Pierre. That's Game 7 at Wrigley. This is Game 6 at Yankee Stadium, 9-6 Boston. And with 1 out, nobody on, and the wind may be at its fiercest as it's been all night. Stuff literally blowing everywhere around here. A 1-0 pitch coming to Bernie Williams. Popped up. Time for Damon to get there. He slips and hangs on. And smiles.
You got to laugh about that. The slip and the one-handed catch. Hat coming off.
Right on that one.
Somebody's lunch blown around behind him. A Ziploc bag. A catch and out number 2. Here's Posada. 2 big runs scoring in the top of this 9th inning on the home run by Nixon. Ball 1. Jorge Posada tonight is 2 out of 4 with a single, a run scored, and a home run. Roger Clemens and Pedro Martinez in Game 7. If the Red Sox hang on here in Game 6. A high strike, and it's 1-1. The 1-1 pitch from Williamson, trying to nail it down. Into right center field. We'll see you tomorrow night. Game 7 of the ALCS. We know you'll join us as Pedro Martinez takes on Roger Clemens. It's a final of 9-6. Game 7 of the NLCS is coming up next. For Tim, Kenny, Brett, I'm Joe. Until tomorrow night, a final of 9-6 Boston. Time didn't run out on this Red Sox offense, and this series lives on to game number 7 tomorrow night.
Over the past 10 years, some of the greatest moments in all of sports happened right here on Fox.
Come on, Mikey, you got it, man. You got it, you got it, you got it, you got it.
You are watching Fox Sports, celebrating 10 years of excellence.